Holy crap. You mean they even believe that stupid old book? Oh, my God. Oh.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Thursday, August 8th, 2013. Time for your Gitmo Nation Media Assassination Episode 537.
This is No Agenda.
Back in the Travis Heights hideout under elevated security conditions. In the morning, everybody, I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where the conditions are always elevated, I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
Oh, and a big donut at the end. No.
Late start.
My mistake. I'm sorry. I spent some time setting up a new mail server. You know, one of those things.
This is like traveling.
No, what do you mean?
Do not eat shrimp or go to a sushi bar before a long flight.
No. You have to understand. The server here at home, of course, whenever you go on vacation, whenever you're thousands of miles away, that, of course, is when things start to break. And what happened is a drive started to fail, and so it was having trouble retrieving stuff from its disk, and I'm like, whatever. So I forwarded some stuff to a different account and worked around it, but the minute I got home, I'm going to take this opportunity to really set up a whole new system. And I found, you know me with my Curry's Law, right? I want to decentralize everything, and everyone should be running their own mail server. I have found a system. I'm going to make a tutorial I'm going to make an ebook, an Amazon Giblet.
Yay.
An Amazon Giblet, an ebook that will tell you in 5 steps you can run your own email server. The only thing I didn't do right is somehow I didn't set the quota properly for the amount of incoming email. And, of course, you sent me the clips, which I don't know, looks like, what is it? How many? It must have been several. It must have been
75 clips.
Yeah, but how many megs? Let me see.
Not that much.
13.4.
Extremely short clips.
13.4, which it probably is set to 10 or something, so I apologize for that.
So what's the, a private rail car just went by.
Who was in it?
There was some rich guys in it, I'm guessing.
Can you still get those? Private rail car? Can you still?
Really? You can rent them. You can rent a private rail car and go across the country if you want to.
But wait a minute, don't you? Did you just hitch on to any old train that's going your way?
Yeah, this was on the back of an Amtrak train.
Really? That's cool. We should get one of those.
Yeah, it's not as cheap as you think.
No, I didn't say. No, I'm not saying we have any money to pay for it. I'm sure we have some patron out there who's more than willing to help us out.
Oh, yeah, he'd be on the train with us.
So I arrived back in Austin.
You usually sleep about 6.
It's a sleeper car, too?
Yeah. Usually those are the ones that...
Oh, I love that. Oh, that sounds awesome. I arrived back in Austin, John. Flip on the television. You're not going to believe what I hear.
A Homeland Security exercise will be underway in Austin over the next several weeks. The Texas Department of Public Safety announced several local and federal agencies will test response plans to possible terroristic threats and other critical incidents. Authorities say you should not be alarmed if you see a big increase in law enforcement officials on the streets of Austin.
It's like, really?
Coincidence? Oh, and there was an accident.
Oh, Mr.
Horrible.
Yeah, we didn't know he was.
Podcaster named Adam Curry was shot in the head.
Hey, listen! Don't talk like that. We can't do it. One can't do without the other here on this show.
I know. That's why I'm advising you to take out an insurance policy and make me
make you the beneficiary.
Yes.
Okay.
Please do it.
Oh, man. Anyway, it is good to be back home here in the Travis Heights hideout. Wow, a lot transpired just since last we spoke, John. Just getting home was, again, quite an interesting ride.
I'm waiting and with bated breath to hear your anecdotes.
Yeah. Well, we learned that how many times have I been flying back with KLM, and I keep saying this, no security. There's no big deal. They don't even have body scanners. They make it just easy.
Yeah, you complain bitterly about it.
Yes,
as if you want more security.
I was very disappointed. Exactly. So we were flying on. Well, we booked it through KLM, but I guess they only have 3 flights a week that are actually serviced by KLM. The others are serviced by Delta, which is kind of a bummer because we got no cachet with Delta. We're just, two more schlubs trying to scam our way, into better service. But we got on. First we tried the old gold card trick at the priority check-in, the KLM priority check-in area.
Yeah.
No go because here's how funny it is. So it's like, okay, insert your card. Oh, hi, Adam Curry. Who are you traveling with? Could it be this person? Yes, that would be that person. So I select Mickey's name, and it's like, okay, we need your address. Really? You need my address? And so I'm filling out my address, and we get to the all the way down to zip code, and then it's like, are you in Tennessee? Like, what kind of system is this? Every stupid website even knows that the zip code where it is. No, they don't know that. And then, so I fill all that out, and then it goes, oh, no,
what?
sorry. Yeah, no, the system did not understand how to pick up my state.
Parse the zip code.
Yeah, they had no idea how to do that. It's totally stupid. But then, I filled out all that information. It's, oh, no, sorry, we can't check you in. We need the extra documents. And, of course, that is because Mickey has to show her green card. That can't go through the system. So we got boned on, getting the automatic, like priority thing on the ticket. But, of course, the stewardess was very nice. The check-in person, which, by the way, they don't have name tags anymore at KLM. It's only, it says agent. I said, hello, agent. Why can't I call you by your name anymore? She said, oh, yeah, no, they've changed that because people were stalking us on Facebook.
Oh.
Isn't that weird? So, yeah, no one has...
don't you love Facebook?
Yeah, no one has their name anymore. It's all agent or a flight attendant or captain.
Stalking us on Facebook.
Yeah, no, she said that's what it was for the stalking on Facebook. So, okay, well, all right, there you go. So then we go through the customs. We go to the gate, and now this is Delta, and dude, everyone's getting questioned. So not only is there a body scanner, but everyone's getting questioned.
Because you're on maximum. We're on red alert.
No. I said, is this...
That's the reason.
I said, is this the red alert? She says, no, not at all. We do this every single flight. I said, no, because I've been flying all the time with KLM. We don't have this. She said, no. KLM doesn't have that. If it's a U.S. carrier, then we ask all the questions. I said, so you're telling me that if you fly KLM, the security is obviously less if you're going to the same destination. She said yes. So, but if I'm flying Delta, then we have to...
She says this unflappable, right?
Yes, yeah. It's no matter. Well,
then why doesn't the terrorist just take the KLM flight? Well, that's the question you should ask.
That's what I would be recommending. I did not say this at the time. I actually wanted to get on the plane. And of course, then
that makes sense.
Yeah. Then we get to the naked body scanner, and we say, "Oh, we'd like to opt out." And I didn't think you could do this in Europe, but they said, "Oh yeah, no problem." And so we opt out, and it's such a friendly process. Whereas in America, it's like opt out, because we couldn't do the hands thing because it was only one scanner, it's the two of us. So we decided both to opt out, and just say, "Okay, no problem, just step over here," and then you get a quick little frisk. Thanks. Okay, pick up your bags. No waiting, no bull crap, no attitude. In fact, it's G4S, which is that horrible security firm from the UK, the ones who did the Olympics. Remember that whole kerfuffle about how they screwed that up? Yeah. So it's the Dutch arm of G4S, and they were really nice, and they're making jokes, and not because it's Adam and Mickey. They were just nice to everybody. Yeah. Now, of course, the ultimate podcast or the improvised podcast device. Along with my
improvised podcast, the IPE you were carrying.
Well, I either want to call it the IPD or the IBD. It should maybe
IPD. Yeah,
improvised broadcast device might be good too. So this thing they have to take everything out now. Now remember, I've traveled with this thing through Europe. No one said a word. Now it has to be ripped apart. It's like, oh, okay, everything out, everything back in. The guy's pulling out, my my Yaesu FT. 817 transceiver. He's like, what is this? Oh, well, that's what I can broadcast with. Oh, okay.
Broadcast from behind the lines.
Yeah. Put it right back in. All right, so then we arrive, flight uneventful. We arrive in Atlanta. And of course, Mickey's flagged, and oh well, you're gonna have to go to the no, she said, we'll have to go to secondary. I said, you mean we have to sit in the aquarium? He said, oh yeah, you got to sit in the aquarium. I said, well, what can we do about this? I mean, this, obviously she has her green card. It's clear that there was a problem in the past, but it was a minor issue, and everything's been resolved. And the guy looks at me and says, oh, this will never go away. Oh no!
Well, at least he's honest.
Yeah, he said,
this will never go away.
He said it like that. Oh, this will never go away. Okay. He said, unless she becomes a U.S. citizen, and even then, I have my doubts. But now they're saying that if you become a member of the Global Entry Program, which is another money grabbing scam.
Yeah,
where they want your retinal scan and all your, and you have to have an interview.
Should you bypass all this crap?
That's what they say. Possibly that you might get through on that. But I can just see you going up to getting your eyeball scanned, and then they still take your side.
I think it's probably true. I think she should just do it.
Yeah, she'll be the guinea pig. Because I want no part of that. And then, of course, we had to go through another security at Atlanta, and this is where when it could have potentially been disastrous. But we were both really tired.
Oh, you had to recheck in your bags.
Yeah, and we had to, and then we have to go through security. And Mickey, for some reason, Mickey's iPad didn't go through. Now, she did the can't raise the arms. I opted out because there was only one slave scanning device. And then I didn't quite see how it started, but all of a sudden, this TSA agent is just like almost yelling at her, because she said, I thought you couldn't touch that. I'm not sure exactly what happened. We were both really tired, so I but then the guy was just like, I've come here every single day, man. This is how it works. And I'm like, and I'm just like, I'm starting to freak out, John. I really am. I'm like, no, I want to get on this plane. We already spent, wasted all this time in the aquarium. And I'm just like, I want to get on the plane. I just want to go home. I just, want to stop. And then some TSA officer comes over, and then he talked to Mickey, and she said, no, it's okay. But I was just like, wow. What
was it all about? You're not explaining it.
Well, she asked him a question. And
never do that.
No, that was what I was trying to tell. Don't ask a question.
Don't ask a question. Just go through. And if they stop you, they stop you.
I'm not sure the problem. It was, it was just something was confusing, and meanwhile, the guy's getting, the ultimate podcast device and bag, and he's like, oh, well, we have to look at this one, and all he does is he swabs the outside, doesn't even look in it. It's so inconsistent. Everything's so stupid. And then, of course, on Delta, we are super priority. We get upgraded to first class. The world is crazy.
Oh, there's a benefit to everything.
The world is crazy, I'm telling you.
And a nice 2-hour flight in first class.
Oh, yeah.
I bet you the food was fantastic. How was the caviar and champagne?
I actually said, can I have a Cristal champagne? And she went, yeah. How about a Honey Jack? Have you ever heard of this product?
No.
It's a product. It's Jack Daniels.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it's horrible. It's Jack Daniels and honey?
And honey, yeah. And it's sold as a product. Honey Jack. What is this? I said, well, I'll try it. It's not an outstanding product at all. And then we get home, and they're okay, so we've been gone for 2.5 weeks. The house is beautiful. Our boys took care of it for us. Everything's great. Have you ever, but then you're like, where's the mail? And, you start looking around, the plants are alive. Where's the mail? Where's 2.5 weeks of mail?
Mail, yeah.
Where's the mail? And you start looking around, you go in the office, and then at a certain point you're ripping stuff open. Where's the mail? And it's 10:30, and texting people, hey, thanks for taking care of the house. Where's my mail? No, we didn't see any mail. And it's like, we text the landlady. She says, "Oh no, they were doing work on the front porch, and the mailman just, we thought that, we don't know. He never came by. Like, we should have like a huge pile of mail."
Huh.
And you remember our mail carrier is an associate executive producer of the show.
Yeah.
So he saw
he probably knew. He listens to the show.
Yes. Yes.
knew you were on your way to a trip. He just stopped delivering. They would deliver it all to you on Monday.
That's exactly what he did, because he rang the doorbell. He said, hey, no, I knew you guys were out, so I figured I'd just hold on to it. You know, the guys were ripping up the porch and everything. I got your mail. I'll bring it tomorrow. I was like, wow. Is this a great show or what?
Yeah, there's little perks.
Yeah, we get our perks. Exactly. Anyway, so we're back and happy to be in 106 degrees, but at least we have air conditioning. And with that, I say in the morning to you, John C. Dvorak.
Well, in the morning to you, Adam Curry. In the morning to all the ships at sea and boots on the ground and feet in the air and subs in the water. And all the dames and knights out there.
You're doing your thing again, just because that guy said it once. It's okay. It's all right. You sound
Then I'm going to keep doing it until he apologizes.
And in the morning to all the human resources in the chat room, noagendastream.com, noagendachat.net. Thank you very much for joining us once again. Thank you to our artist, in particular Martin JJ, for providing the art on episode 536. And you can find all of our artists' endeavors at noagendaartgenerator.com. And I would presume
So
what did I miss?
Well, you missed a couple of things, but go on.
Well, first, don't we
before we go into the regular chunks of the show,
I want to thank our producers before we do anything.
Yeah. Well, you want to thank our producers?
That's usually what we do when we get into the in the morning to you, John, Adam, that whole thing.
Oh, let me think. I don't remember us ever doing that.
As he slowly goes to his email, trying to open up his spreadsheet, carefully put together by Eric the Shill in the back office as he wears his green visor at night, putting together all the notes with various donations coming in through PayPal and through our bank. And...
Well, I got the one. The thing that says Redux. There's nothing attached.
Yeah, there is. No, I got the Redux with an attachment. It's there.
Here we go. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. All right, we do have a few people to thank, including a bunch of Insta-Nights, which really helps the show immensely. Starting with the Black Knight of Silicon Valley, who came in with 1073.33.
Wow.
In the morning, John and Adam. Enclosed, please find 5636 for the Sunday show, plus $537 for the Thursday show, plus 33 cents for Good Measure.
Wow.
I'm sending... so in other words, this was actually should have been for the last show. So he wants this... No, he's got this. He's got it. Should be 538. We'll throw in the.
No, this is show 537. This is 537.
Yeah, I know, but he wants it for. He says he closed 5:30 for Sundays, which would be 538. So he's thinking.
He came up short, is what you're saying.
He came up. Damn, you Black Knight of Silicon Valley.
You came up short. Well, man. That's
you guys deserve a paid vacation. I hope this helps in recovering from my lack of donations last week. Please shoot me some of that wonderful No Agenda karma.
Are you kidding me, man? Yeah, thank you. You're totally helping us out with that. Appreciate it.
You've got karma.
Fantastic.
Thomas Pouliard in Manamana. In Bahrain, $1,000. Another fantastic donor.
He goes to.
Hi, guys. This is Sir Thomas, of course. Hi, guys. Flew to the U.S. and left from Gate 33. Time to donate.
That's a magic number.
By the way, my Delta flight was actually DL0033.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. That was weird.
This will take me to the Baron title, so he's now Baron.
Excellent.
Sir Thomas. Please provide much-needed job karma. 73 is from Alpha 92 Great Western.
Gulf Whiskey.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Baron Thomas of Bahrain. If it's possible, he'd like to be Sir Funk or something along those lines. Better you go along those lines.
Wait a minute.
Funk Master.
This is Josh McDonald.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm reading into the next thing. You know, there's these lines on my spreadsheet when they're turned blue like this. It actually wipes out the blue line.
Hey, man, my lines are no good.
No, seriously. The lines on the spreadsheet are this kind of light color.
I'm sure we can ask Eric to
darken the lines.
To give us more thickness, more girth on the lines.
That's Josh McDonald, who from Brunswick, Victoria, Australia. Another $1,000. Jeez, nice.
Wow.
And he's the one who wants to be Sir Funk.
Yeah, it shall be so.
Sir Funk, Sir Josh McDonald Funk. Better you guys put it to good use and blow it on some gewgaw for my car. I'll wear my ring with pride when hitting mofos in the mouth.
What's gewgaw?
You know, the tchotchke.
Oh.
My lords, dames, knights, slaves, and elites, please be upstanding for another donation from the Grand Duke von Pelsmakers.
The Grand Duke Pelsmakers is from Belgium. 88888. Happy 25th wedding anniversary, Mimi and John, and much marital bliss in the decades ahead, too, on top of it being an easy day to remember. Always important, and one day after my own, albeit failed wedding ceremony, anniversary. Can't read today, folks. This is not going to. This will be.
It's just not going to happen. We're just going to bear with you. It's okay. It's just it's an off day. It happens.
Wedding anniversary. Our day was 7 August 1999, or 7999, which is not bad.
7899.
7899. I'm sorry. Again, the figure 8 is a lucky number in Chinese culture, of course. And 1.3 billion Chinese can't all be wrong. And what if you add 25 and 8 together? Coincidence? Yeah, well, you could. That's a what a reverse engineering job.
Maybe.
Many happy returns. Have yourself. It is funny, the 25th anniversary and the 8th. Okay.
Let me ask you a question. So Mimi are you up there? Does she come down to see you? What's going on?
She's here right now. You talked to her earlier.
Well, I'm pretending like I shouldn't have done that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's going to be flying down later this afternoon on the jet.
On the Lear. She's coming in. And when did she come in?
From all the sales of my ebook.
Did she? I got it in the show notes actually today. Did she come in? When did she come in? Last night, or what are you doing to celebrate? You know, the Baron here wants you to go out and have a good time.
I'm gonna go have dinner, fancy dinner.
Oh, where
I bought when we got married. I bought 2 cases of 1988 Lynch Bage, which is the year. So we have a bottle every time we have, every year, one bottle a year.
Can I dibs on the last 5?
There's only 24 in 2 cases, so we're actually, I don't know how we still have 4 left.
How does that work?
Well, there's actually some other 88s that I've substituted. I've had just a few of them, but the vintage is starting to fade.
John, that just proves that you really are a romantic.
Yes, and here's another example of that. For both the kids, I bought them big bottles of a great Bordeaux wine for their birthdays, and so we opened it on the 21st birthday. And when you buy a wine 25 years ago or 21 years ago, it was a lot cheaper.
Yeah, and did the kids chug it?
No.
Just like, hey, thanks, Dad.
They're not big drinkers. Oh. What if you had 25 and 8 together? Coincidence? I think not. Many happy returns, and have yourself a nice dinner together with some quite suitable wines, and come visit the GD of Belgium, the Grand Dukedom, when you are near. We will do that.
Thank you so much, Sir Pelsmakers, Grand Duke of Belgium. It's appreciated. And I talk about you often, by the way, whenever we're talking about the show. People
well, he's a very famous person.
He's extremely famous.
Sir Patrick Wilson, 333 in Canyon Lake, California. Sad tidings here from inland. Jennifer Wilson lost her fight with breast cancer August 2nd. Please give Team Wilson some karma and an Italian shut-up slave to cancer. She was actually getting on board, unfortunately, with no agenda. Well, too bad. Sorry.
Shut up, slave. Stai zitto, schiavo.
You've got karma.
All right, Sir Patrick, there you go.
You feel bad about that.
Yeah, we do.
William Ashby 33, because he's mentioned her before, and I followed this a little bit. William Ashby 33333, Mobile, Alabama.
Can I just ask you? Isn't that weird? The older you get, I mean, I started noticing this at least 10 years ago, because of course a lot of my friends are in show business and they've lived drug, alcohol filled lives. But isn't it weird the older you get, just people are dying around you? I mean, it's weird for me.
A lot of people find that interesting. Yeah, a lot of people are freaked out about it.
I'm not freaked out, but it's just like, do you ever
they
get
start to drop? Yeah, start dropping. And then as you get really old, they're all dead. They're all dead, except you. It's kind of what happened to my mother. She went to 90 and all her friends were dead.
That's what I'm saying. That might just really suck. There's just no one left. And then what do you do? Well, you're on like...
you have to make new, younger friends who are just totally interested in being buddies with a 90-year-old.
Yeah, do you imagine logging into Facebook and your timeline is empty? Just no friends. Just shut it down. Shut it down.
Yeah, be a public figure and you can get a couple phony friends. That's the great thing.
Oh, yeah, that's the best.
William Ashby, 3333. Read the article on autism if you can at some point, and he's got a link which we'll put in the show notes. I was diagnosed by a very intelligent doctor with psoriatic arthritis due to a leaky gut. My carpal tunnel-like syndromes nearly disappeared when taking an antifungal and antibiotic. I was reading about this and came across some fairly interesting ideas that autism is possibly linked to an intestinal flora changes after antibiotics. Having two doctors as parents, I know they know almost nothing about how the gut bacteria affects health. This is true. If anyone would be interested in this, Adam would be.
Yeah. No,
I see. I have to read this with a dramatic note.
Yeah.
If anyone would be interested in this, Adam would be. Two possible serious ailments, which are poorly understood, have linkages to intestinal microbes. This should also make me a knight. That's a little bit of a non sequitur, but yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Sir William, he's not on the list.
Why is he not on the list?
Ask Eric. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I'm doing a show here. And I have to go and ask
we just
Eric?
Put him on the list. We can put him on the list.
Yeah, but if it's not true.
No, these guys, they do their own accounting. If he says he's a knight, and we can always pull his knighthood if it turns out to be bogus, but I doubt it.
Your knighthood has been pulled.
You have been pulled from the knighthood.
William Ashby. I have confidence in Eric. I do. He's got his whole system back up and running.
So he puts the totals up.
No, he knows what he's doing. So, all right. Well, I mean, obviously, I'll give William the benefit of the doubt.
And we have no associate executive producers.
Wow.
Which is kind of weird.
Interesting.
It's interesting.
All right. So then while we're here, while we're on this spot, plug your ebook because you've been plugging it everywhere.
Yes, go to Inside Track Book, InsideTrackBook.com, and you can buy a copy of a accumulation of my thoughts over the past year and a half on certain topics.
It's a thin book.
Including ebooks, and which is the second essay in the book.
So this is basically just
it's all text
reruns.
Stuff,
all reruns. Stuff you've already written before.
Yeah, but I've consolidated and it's all edited.
Yeah, no, I understand. And where do we go to find this great book?
InsideTrackBook.com, or you can pick it up off of Amazon, but then I lose $1 or something like that.
But it is on Amazon.
Yeah, it is on Amazon. By the way, it went on Amazon the same day Bezos bought the Washington Post, which I think was an omen.
Yeah, I don't know if that's good or not. Can I ask you a question about this? So,
all omens are good.
How's it doing? How is the book selling? Is it
still about 23 or 24 copies so far?
Really? Whoa! Mimi's glad she came down.
So
no, you're kidding me. You should
be
able to do at least like a couple thousand of this thing.
I thought my target is actually 2,000.
And how did you come up? I'm just interested. How did you come up with the price point of $9.49?
I liked it.
Okay, but there's no other.
It's just a gut price.
Just numerology.
One of the things I'm involved in here is in exercise in publishing, because the ebook process to make an ebook or to take anything and repurpose it or whatever you want to do and then turn it into an ebook and then actually get it out there so it goes on a Kindle properly. Is not hard at all, but it's also tricky. So it's like one of those things. So I'm going to do an ebook on how to do these ebooks. Because meanwhile, I'm talking on Theo's show. Oh, you got to look at Kawasaki's book, Ape. So I got to copy that. And it's a book about how to write books. It's horrible. Yeah, it does nothing. It doesn't tell you anything you need to know.
No. Well, I definitely want to try this. Can I also if I created an Amazon Giblet, as I call it, which you call an ebook, I call it a Giblet. If I created one of these about how to set up your own email server, could I give it away and just have people donate money, like my value for value thing, or does it have to cost something?
No, you're gonna have to price it, or Amazon won't carry it.
Well,
you could give it away, but not put it on Amazon.
But you can still get it on your Kindle. I mean, can't you just make something a Kindle file?
Just put up. Yeah, you could create a small pamphlet-length book, ebook.
Yeah.
And then you could put it on you just have a link, some page that has it, and you point everybody, go over there and you can download it.
Right.
And you go there and you click the download. It comes in as a Mobi file.
Right.
And then when you hook your Kindle up to the computer, you open the docs file in the Kindle, and then you take that Mobi file and you just slide it right in there.
There's got to be an easier way. Can't you email it to your Kindle? Can't you do that? You can do that,
can't you? You
have
to slide it onto the Kindle somehow.
Yeah, no, I thought you could email it. Your Kindle has a special Kindle email address. You can email stuff to it.
Yeah,
I think. All right.
Well, there's a bunch of Kindles that don't have connectivity, so that's not going to help.
You know what? I'll just post it on my blog.
Just slide it over. It's like a thumb drive.
I already don't want it. I'll just post it on the blog, and everyone can just go pound
like
sand.
Like an old woman, like my mom when I gave her a microwave. Get it out of here! Get this thing out of here! It sparks. It sparks.
Did she put her silverware in it? Did she put her silverware in there?
I don't know. It was sparking. So she said, get it out. Okay, Mom.
You know what's uncanny? Your mom sounds just like Mimi. I don't know what's going on.
I'm surrounded by women that talk that way.
Yeah, I hear you. All right. Well, anyway, definitely check out. I'll put a link to the. I already have it in there. A link to John's ebook in the show notes at 537.nashownotes.com. And thank you very much to our executive producers today, along with our 537 episode club member. That'll be the Black Knight of Silicon Valley. Just fantastic to see everything come through. Thank you very much. You've definitely helped us through our vacation period, and to support us for the Sunday show.
Dvorak.org/NA.
And of course, we always need the propagation of our formula.
Our formula is this: we go out, we hit people in the mouth. New World Order.
Hey, citizen.
Shut up.
But I am serious. I'm going to put together a tutorial. It'll be how to set up your mail server for idiots. Oh, no, I can't do that, I guess, because that'll be a violation of some kind of trademark.
Actually, to be honest about it, whether you know they trademark these things nowadays, there's no such thing as a copyrighted book title.
Well, that's why I said trademark. I'm sure they can do a Lanham Act would make sense for that. I mean, I've been through that. Doesn't matter. I'm going to put it together because I was able to put together a server, an email server, everything in under an hour, and all you have to do is cut and paste a couple of things.
That's the title. You got your title.
Email,
use the under an hour.
Under an hour.
Moniker, and use that as your trademark gimmick for all the little books you do.
I was actually thinking This Week in Email Servers was... No? Not a good idea? Them's weeks in email servers.
Thwems or whatever.
Yeah. No, but it's I'm quite proud of myself. There's this new package which is open source called iRedMail. You should look at this just for yucks, just to see what they're doing. I love the model because you got iRedMail. It's a collection of a whole bunch of packages. It really installs with just a couple of commands, command line functions. It has a web client, which is pretty good. The only thing, obviously, I screwed up today is somewhere there's a quota thing. But the model these guys have is they're selling a super admin package. That's like, I don't know, $300 a year if you want to license it to really be able to do multiple domains and the really deep, just really it's a very good admin package, which you can do without. But they're basically selling that on top of it. I think it's a great model. And and also I learned about gray listing. Have you heard about this?
I've heard of gray listing, but I don't know what you're going to talk about.
Well, so you have blacklist, whitelist on email servers. I didn't know about the gray listing. What it is if you send me an email and my mail server has never seen your host with your name before, it'll send back a message and say, oh, we've got a policy issue on this. Please try again. And your email server automatically knows to try it again in 5 minutes. It might be 10 minutes, but it's typically about 5 minutes. And if you come back with the same identifier, then you're through, and then you're whitelisted. Because a lot of these spam guys, they don't do fully what is it?
Verified. They just blow out.
Yeah, they're just blowing shit out, and and if they
don't care.
Yeah, they come up once, they're not going to come again. Like, rejected, they move on. And it really makes a difference in the amount of spam. It's because I'm just watching the log. It's an interesting process, but you will have a delay sometime, and when someone sends you an email.
I think that's when you get that delayed message.
That's exactly what it is.
I get that when you send one of those back to me, I'll get a delayed message.
Exactly. But you should.
It says, do not take any action. Do not worry about it.
You shouldn't be receiving that. I mean, that should be transparent, but sometimes I guess it slips through. But it's it's an interesting. Maybe it's really old, but it seemed to me like something that's relatively, at least it was new to me. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. It seems to be working.
You should explain that in the little book that you're going to read. The cute little book.
In my little giblet, which will be free to all. And I can't believe that I spent, you probably spent the same amount of time. I put 5 clips together of Obama and Leno.
I got a bunch.
We're going to be saying the same things, obviously. So, why don't you? Would you want to start off with these? Because I found this to be a very obvious, appearance by the president to talk to the human resources.
Oh, please. This was the most rigged bullcrap thing I have ever seen.
That's what I'm saying. It was all it was rigged.
We'll start with this. They actually were, chatting for a minute. And then Leno had he had 2 blue sheets of paper on the thing, and he was literally looking down at these sheets, reading the questions.
I know. Some of them were just so incredibly bad. And it seemed to me like it was too much. I'm just going to say highlight. Just a highlight, top level. It was to tell the American people nothing is wrong with what we're doing to your email, telephone, text messages, the camera under your bed. Nothing's wrong with that. And fuck Russia.
Well, here's the way. I actually have a couple of gaffes that I don't know whether you caught, but I caught them all.
I caught them all. You're going
to hear it. You're going to go, oh.
I caught them all.
How did I miss that?
Okay.
But let's start with, here's where Leno, they're yakking and joking about their wives. And then Leno, this is the clip that here's where Leno starts the script, and you can hear him break right into a script.
Okay. Yeah.
23 years, I know exactly what you're saying. Hey, I got to ask you about this. Everyone is concerned about these embassy closings. How significant is this threat?
Well, it's significant enough that we're taking every precaution.
I love how when someone tries to conversation, and John, you and I know this because we've been doing this for decades. When someone conversationally tries to roll into the script, there's always that no, there's always a little stutter. It's like let me. I was just wondering about this thing. It's so obvious to anyone who's done this.
So I was just going to get some. These I'm going to run through the short. I took really the snippets here. There's one I just want to play it for the record, which is the Obama says China is slowing down. I don't know if this is official, but he says it.
Okay.
I just want this for the record.
When you've got problems in Europe or China's slowing down.
Okay. Why do we need that for the record?
I'm sorry, I needed that for DH Unplugged.
It's just you accidentally dropped it into today's show. Is that it?
I just wanted to get it out there
right.
Because there's no real. The Chinese say they're not slowing down. This is a real controversy whether China's slowing down. And by the way, Obama goes on and says, this is going to be a huge problem for us. Yeah, because we're going to end up having to build stuff in the United States. That was very strange. All right.
Wait. Stop. Why is this a huge problem? Don't we want to build stuff in the United States?
Yes, but he says it's a problem. That whole clip goes, well, if there's, this is why the G20 is so important, because there's trouble in Europe and China's slowing down. That affects our economy.
Yeah.
What it affects is that, we don't buy as much Chinese garbage. All right.
Yeah.
Now, here is again, these are short. This is Leno asking what I thought was the most disgusting of all the leading questions. And this is the disgusting clip.
safe to say that we learned about these threats through the NSA intelligence program? Is that a fair assessment?
Well, this intelligence gathering that we do is a critical component of counterterrorism.
Yeah. I think there was more to that. And let me just come in here with my clip. I think I had something extra that you might have missed.
The NSA leaker, Edward Snowden, some call him a whistleblower. What do you call him?
I got that.
You got this clip?
Yeah. Go on, play it.
We don't know yet exactly what he did, other than what he said on the Internet. And
I'm sorry. You're wrong, Mr. President. He didn't say anything on the Internet. Mr. Snowden gave everything to The Guardian and The Washington Post through the filmographer Lori Poitras. Now, why are you saying he put it on the Internet?
I was baffled by that myself.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought.
Okay, now here, no, that's good. Now here is the one.
Wait. No, I got it. Here's the one that's important. I think you missed this one about the NSA.
Some skepticism, and I think we should have a healthy skepticism about what government's doing. I had the programs reviewed. We put in some additional safeguards to make sure.
Now pay attention, because he says something really interesting here.
Sure that there's federal court oversight as well as congressional oversight, that there is no spying on Americans. We don't have a domestic spying program. What we do have are some mechanisms where we can track a phone number or an email address that we know is connected to some sort of terrorist threat. And that information is useful, but what I've said before.
Here comes the performative.
I want to make sure I repeat, and that is we should be skeptical about the potential encroachments on privacy. None of the revelations show that government has actually abused these powers, but they're.
None of the revelations show that government has abused these powers, which doesn't mean it's not actually happening. He's actually covering and just saying, well, nothing that came out shows that we're doing anything wrong. You need to put George Bush's head on the guy when he talks like that.
I give you that. That's a good one. That's a good point.
Thank you.
Now, now if we're going to get into that, I'm going to have to give you a topper.
Oh, no. Top me, Johnny boy.
This is a very short clip where I just think this to me was like a clip of the day, quality clip. This is Obama talking about the odds of getting killed by terrorists.
Yeah. We're going to live our lives, and the odds of people dying in a terrorist attack obviously are still a lot lower than in a car accident, unfortunately.
Unless you're Michael Hastings.
Unfortunately. Did you hear that?
Wait a minute. Unfortunately, no.
We're going to live our lives, and the odds of people dying in a terrorist attack obviously are still a lot lower than in a car accident, unfortunately.
Wow. Well, you've already set it up. Oh, crap. I'll give it to you then. Damn.
Clip of the day.
Well, there's more, but I didn't hear the unfortunately the first time around. How does someone, I don't know, man. It's like,
hey, by the way, this is part, I think, of an overall theme that I'm convinced is going on. They are not getting the track. This NSA thing is just a part of because the NSA has not come up with any excuse for all these taps, and they haven't arrested anybody. There's nothing really been done. It's a fiasco, and so people are getting sick of this terrorism thing, and that's why Obama said, "Oh, your chances of getting killed are less than getting killed in a car wreck." Unfortunately, because he would like to see more terrorism.
More terror. Well, now I got something here. I got a little. This one. I don't know if you picked up on this one.
What I've tried to do as president is not overreact, but make sure that. As much as possible, the American people understand that there are genuine risks out there. What's great about what we've seen with America over the last several years is how resilient we are. So after the Boston bombing, for example, the next day, folks are out there. They're going to ball games.
What are you talking about? The whole city of Boston shut down. People were supposed to cower in their houses, crouch and cower. What are you talking about?
Making sure that we're not reacting in a way that somehow shuts us down.
You were literally shut down.
They shut
shut down the city.
And that's the right reaction. Terrorists.
I can't. of course, we know that this is a script, but I mean, what kind of credibility does anyone have when he's saying these things? Literally, there was like a huge manhunt. They shut down the entire city. Stay in your homes. Be afraid. Don't wait until we come and save you with our guns. And this, I'm baffled.
Now knowing. We have a number of clips here people are going to have to put up with, but these are really good because this is the opportunity where Obama actually gets out from behind the podium, tries to talk, even though this is very rehearsed, and he stutters a lot. There's a moment, this is, to me, one of the really great clips I have. It's a short clip. There's a moment where Leno, he's got his talking points, and he tries to put together some sort of a question, and he has all these things he's got to jam in there. He's got the meme about, Snowden should have stayed in the country and taken his punishment like a man, which is one of the memes that he threw into this discussion.
Right, take it like a man, yeah.
And all that sort of thing. But he gets a bunch, but he's got to blast Snowden, the stripper girlfriend and all this other bull crap.
Yeah.
So Leno, this is the question. Leno loses talking points. This is where Leno... He's got all these talking points, so he just starts babbling. He just throws the words in it with no connection. It's hilarious.
This guy's being paid money by an outside firm, living in Hawaii. You got the stripper girlfriend. All of a sudden, you're all upset with what the government is doing.
Right.
And you go to another country. I mean, in my era, Daniel Ellsberg stood in the town square and said, I've got this, got arrested, New York Times. I mean...
and the president going... Yeah, right.
What does he throw the New York Times in for, and what does Ellsberg got to do with the stripper girlfriend?
This is what Leno was supposed to be saying. He should have turned it around because that has been the talking point I've heard certainly on MSNBC, etc., and like Morning Joe. It's like Ellsberg. Well, Ellsberg, he came out, but he stood his ground like a man. He took it like a man, and the Snowden is pussy. They've been saying this over and over.
Yeah, and then meanwhile, people have to look into is Binney. He's the NSA guy who was a whistleblower. The FBI arrested him and his kids at gunpoint while he was taking a shower.
In seconds.
And made his life miserable. And meanwhile, we listen to this bull crap from Obama with the little clip here. You can play as much of this as you want. The Obama pro whistleblower.
This was funny too.
Let me ask you about this. The NSA leaker, Edward Snowden, some call him a whistleblower. What do you call him?
Well, we don't know yet exactly what he did, other than what he said on the internet, and it's important for me not to prejudge something.
Gotcha.
Hopefully,
like I did with Bradley Manning, where I said he was guilty.
Trayvon Martin.
Yeah, let's not prejudge anything.
At some point, he'll go to trial, and he will have a lawyer and due process, and we can make those decisions. I can tell you that there are ways, if you think that the government is abusing a program, of coming forward. In fact, I, through executive order, signed whistleblower protection for intelligence officers or people who are involved in the intelligence industries.
Yeah, let me get right on that.
So you don't have to break the law. No. You don't have to.
So wait a minute. He just said here he broke the law. So you don't have to break the law.
Right. The guy hasn't been tried.
The whole thing.
Right. He was not going to make judgments, but he broke the law. Phony.
It's disturbing, It really is, and the lack of any kind of counter, discussion. It's just, where is everybody on this? This is sad.
But Leno is really sickening in this. In the worst case, I think one of the worst things he does is this gay diatribe. Now, you talked and discussed the real situation about gays in Russia.
Well, hold on a second, because I have here from one of our producers. I asked for it. Now, I had already seen this, but I asked specifically for a translation, and I have it here. The Russian gay law, translated by our producer, Mr. Prayer. Just one paragraph. Here it is. The offense. And I believe this to be a true translation. Propaganda of non-traditional sexual relations among minors expressed in the dissemination of information aimed at developing in minors of non-traditional sexual directives, attractiveness of non-traditional sexual relations, a distorted picture of the social equivalence of traditional and non-traditional sexual relations, or the imposition of information on non-traditional sexual relationships causing interest in such relationships if these actions do not have a criminal offense. And the fines are $100 fine and a 3-year ban, I think, on entry to Russia for individuals, and for companies it can be up to $30,000 translated from their rubles or whatever it is. But the bottom line is, it is not, although sad, it is not a ban on being gay or anything of the like, and it is not just Putin, it is Russia. And I have some of the statistics. 88%, according to some polling companies in Russia, of the Russian population are on board with this. While it seems foreign to us, it is a far cry from you go to jail if you're gay, which is pretty much, I think, what Leno said.
Well, what Leno says on this show is worse than that. Now, we should also mention we had a guy in Sweden. I guess we can talk about this later, but this is part of a concerted anti-Putin thing, it seems to me.
It's all about anti-Putin. In fact, the president, did you have the Cold War thing where he's talking about, Putin's back in a Cold War mentality. He's thinking Cold War.
I actually... Right.
It's funny. I didn't clip that one either.
It was funny, but that Cold War mentality comment is funny because they had an ambassador. I think he was like the ambassador to Russia, in fact, during, I think, Reagan or Clinton, who said that if anybody's acting with a Cold War mentality, it's us. And I actually believe that's true.
Well, listen to this. I'm going to lead into. So we're going to do the. Is it the? Which one is it? Which one is the?
Well, I got to set it up. It's the gay roundup.
Okay. I was just going to give you a little 12-second of Aaron Burnett.
Okay, hit it.
And Russia is Russia, Nazi Germany. Tonight, there are more comparisons being made about Russia's crackdown on gays and lesbians and the Nazis' persecution of Jewish citizens, homosexuals, and others that Hitler wanted to eliminate.
This is where it's gone. We've now got Aaron Burnett, and she actually throws to the Leno clip right after this, saying that Russia are the new Nazis because they want to round up the gays and gas them.
Well, I find this disturbing because these are obvious White House talking points, again, anti-Putin. And so what we have in this next clip is Leno making a statement that is totally false. It's a complete lie. And Obama, instead of saying, well, you got that a little bit wrong, and correcting him like a president. Yeah. Like a presidential guy should do. He should say, well, you got that wrong. It's not quite that bad. But what he does instead, he doesn't disagree with it at all. And he goes off and it kind of changes the subject. So Leno says, they're going to kill all the gays. And the president, Obama, says, well, I'm against people that don't like gays. I mean, he just disconnects from Leno, lets it stand as though it's true.
Yep.
This is a horrible, horrible, horrible person in this situation. This is the worst clip in terms of, this would be a good clip of the day, but it's so disgusting that I hate to give it any sort of an award. But listen to this.
Well, something that shocked me about Russia, and I'm surprised this is not a huge story. Suddenly, homosexuality is against the law.
Lie. That is not the fact. It is not.
I mean, this sounds like Germany. Lie. Let's round up the Jews. Let's round up the gays. Let's round up the black. I mean,
let's round up the Jews. No, let's round up the dumb comedians.
Starts with that. You round up people who you don't like. I mean, why is not more of the world outraged at this?
Well, I've been very clear that when it comes to universal rights.
Here's what I think happened. I think that Leno was off script bringing this up. Or maybe they never scripted it. It was like, I'll bring up the Russian gay thing. Okay, yeah, great. And then I'll talk about how much I love gays and lesbians and transgenders. And by the way, he forgets bisexuals in this, and I'm very perturbed by that. The president forgets. So I think Leno just went off, and you can hear the president struggling, which is why I think he's just like, okay, I'm going to leave that one over there. That's up to you.
Well, he did a great job of hanging in there after Leno went off the rails.
Comes to people's basic freedoms, that whether you are discriminating on the basis of race, religion, gender, or sexual orientation, you are violating the basic morality that I think should transcend every country.
Now, I got to say something about this because people misunderstand, and I think a lot of people listening to the show will say, "Well, yeah, but it is about hating the gays." I mean, that's almost as you can only extrapolate things so far as to what they are. There's a far cry from the legislation that they have about propagandizing in front of minors, not in coal miners, but children who are underage. To you're not allowed to be gay. And
you're going to round you up.
And I have this conversation with Mickey because she says, "Well, but that's just where it starts." And then before you know it, if I want to have a gay bar and I'm advertising, they're going to shut me down. And I'm like, maybe you can take it that far, but what people are missing, this is about making Russia look bad. And we have nothing but 3.5 million black people in jail here in America. What are you talking about? Hello? I mean, this is basically,
Hello, Kettle. This is the pot calling.
Yeah, except this is now just being propagated through NBC channels and and CNN as Russia hates gays. They're horrible, horrible, horrible people. Putin, who of course, as we discussed in the previous show, the funny thing is the guy's obviously gay. That's the irony of it.
So there's this clip where this is just as if Leno knows anything. He throws this KGB zinger in there.
Yeah.
And Putin seems to me like one of those old school KGB guys.
Well, he headed up the KGB.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean.
I'm sorry. No, he did not head up the KGB. In fact, he only rose to the rank of lieutenant colonel. He did not run the KGB. You can find this on Wikipedia. And the president said, "Oh yeah, he ran the KGB."
And what you maybe should mention, George H.W. Bush did run the CIA.
Did run the CIA, yeah. It's not true. He resigned from active state security services with the rank of lieutenant colonel on August 20th, 1991. That is a far cry from running the KGB. Let's listen to that again, because that was another one of those exchanges. And it's insulting to me.
And it was also scripted.
And Putin seems to me like one of those old school KGB guys.
Well, he headed up the KGB.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. He has that mentality. Look at this picture here. You two.
And then we're going to show some pictures. That's his Cold War mentality. Now, did you catch the Olympic Games thing?
I got the Olympic Games one. Now, what did you catch in it?
Well, okay. Can I play the clip and then can I say what I caught?
Okay.
I think Putin and Russia have a big stake in making sure the Olympics work, and I think they understand that for most of the countries that participate in the Olympics, we wouldn't tolerate gays and lesbians being treated differently. They're athletes. They're there to compete, and if Russia wants to uphold the Olympic spirit, then every judgment should be made on the track or in the swimming pool or on the balance beam, and people's sexual orientation shouldn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't swim or do track or balance beam during the Winter Olympics.
Yeah, I got that too.
The Winter Olympics.
Yeah, he's so out of it.
And it was like, oh, yes. Oh,
yeah, and the audience is clapping. It's the Winter Olympics, you idiots.
I mean, it would be, ice dancing, if he had said that.
Skating,
skiing, ski jumping. I mean, that means you're just a puppet. That to me was the clincher. It's just like, wow. And by the way, aren't the Winter Olympics on NBC?
Yeah, they have all the Olympics.
Let's see. Winter Olympics.
No, it's NBC. I guarantee it.
Really? Wow. And then Leno should have been. Well, of course, you can't correct the president, I guess. Yeah, 2014 Winter Olympics, NBC. So they plug it.
So they're not going to push that one.
No, but
that agenda is not going on.
It was a crappy plug because it was wrong.
Very crappy.
On the balance beam during the Sochi Winter Olympics, ladies and gentlemen. Jeez.
So so I heard a gaffe in this clip. Actually, I got two gaffes that I want to discuss. We're almost done, by the way, for people out there who are sick of this.
No, I don't think anyone's sick of it because if you, I think a lot of people don't see this. You know, you'd be amazed, or they only see some highlights where, you know, but now we're actually pulling the whole thing apart. This was so full of incorrect, just factually incorrect things, lies even, that it was astounding to me. It was, you know, we are Russia. Seek Heil!
Okay, so there's a funny gaffe in here that I thought was weird, but this is the gays part 2 with weird gaffe, and see if you can spot it. It's just very minor.
Hold on a second. I don't see gay. I see odd gaff. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Here we go. All right.
And I have no patience for countries that try to treat gays or lesbians or transgender persons in ways that intimidate them or are harmful to them. Now, what's happening in Russia is not unique. When I traveled to Africa, there were some countries that are doing a lot of good things for their people, who we're working with and helping on development issues, but in some cases have persecuted gays and lesbians. And it makes for...
I didn't get it. I didn't.
He says things in Russia. He was going to say something else. He says things in it was either going to say Germany or Japan.
Oh, hold on.
It was on his mind. So Germany and Japan are on his mind.
Listen, hold on a second. Hold on.
Development issues, but in some cases have persecuted gays and lesbians.
Where was that?
It was right dead in the middle.
Okay, hold on.
Intimidate them or are harmful to them. Now, what's happening in Russia?
Sounds like Japan.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It sounds like he's going into Japan. Good catch, by the way. Good catch. Yeah, I didn't hear that one. So Japan, write it down. Put it in the book, man. Something's going to happen. Gays in Nippon.
Japan. It's on his mind.
Gays in Japan.
It could be.
Yeah, something gay in Japan. You watch.
And here's another one I caught, which is the odd gaffe about getting rich. You may have heard this one. I'm not absolutely sure what it even means, why he did this, but he corrects himself. And this is a very obvious gaffe, but it's there's part of a just getting by meme in here and some other stuff. But just discuss this after they hear it.
Where if folks work hard, they can find a good job that pays a decent wage. They can send their kids to college. They got health care they can count on. They can retire even if they don't get rich, or
even if they don't get rich.
If they're not rich.
Hold on. I'll roll it back. I'm sorry.
Where if folks work hard, they can find a good job that pays a decent wage. They can send their kids to college. They got health care they can count on. They can retire even if they don't get rich, or even if they're not rich. And that we're creating these ladders of opportunities for people to get into the middle class.
You stupid Mexican. You came to America and you didn't even get rich. How dumb are you? It's the easiest thing in the world.
So I found that to be a very peculiar switchback, because he says they can retire even if they don't get rich. It's fine, isn't it? By its standalone?
Yeah, but...
So I'm saying, well, you can retire here even if you don't get rich. And then I'd go on. I wouldn't go, even if you don't, even if you aren't rich.
Yeah.
What is the point of making that switchback?
Making the correction. It's probably some training, some trigger that he's got, about how to talk and things to say, and how to particularly talk about wealth and money and riches.
Maybe.
It just sounded like some training kicked in there, some Pavlovian thing.
Yeah, it could be. But I just found that one to be the most peculiar. And last, we have the extradition disappointment, which was just a pure piece of propaganda, again, with a lead-in, written question. Acted as though it wasn't.
Were you surprised that Russia granted Snowden asylum?
I was disappointed because even though we don't have an extradition treaty with them, traditionally we have tried to respect if there's a lawbreaker or an alleged lawbreaker in their country. We evaluate it and we try to work with them. They didn't do that with us, and in some ways it's reflective of some underlying challenges that we've had with Russia lately.
Right. Yeah, and Syria. Stuff like that. Just minor little things we got going on with Russia lately. This was really a bizarre performance, I thought.
Gave him the whole show, by the way.
And this will go down in the history books, and we may not be around for this one, but this will be written up as, as an example of where America was off its rocker with propaganda. No, actually, I'll add something to this. The president is working on his bargain, the bargain for the American people, which I guess part of the American dream is owning your own home. This is now back on the agenda, and the president's idea here is again some kind of reform, blah blah blah, make it easier to pay for your home, to buy a home. Not everyone's going to, but whatever it is. But remind me, John, what is the definition of fascism again?
Well, it depends on which one of our listeners is writing us a note about it. But generally speaking, it's when the governments and the corporations work together hand in hand to benefit the large stakeholders as opposed to the public itself.
Okay. So if you are the president and you're trying to get some kind of bargain for people, whatever it is, and you can do this through legislation, but if you were to actually work with, I don't know, like a big real estate agency, would that be weird? Would that be wrong if you work with
Not if you're a fascist.
Zillow presents A Better Bargain for Responsible Homeowners with President Barack Obama. Now here's your moderator, Zillow CEO Spencer Rascoff.
Welcome, and thank you for joining us today. Zillow is honored to host this unprecedented event and connect homeowners, renters, and prospective buyers with President Obama, who is ready to answer your housing questions. The housing market has come a long way in the last year, and we're all very happy to see most local markets bouncing back after the housing recession, with many homeowners freed from negative equity and sellers enjoying a competitive environment. Still, there are concerns about the future, and we've received thousands of questions over the last couple of days via social media. Today we'll pose some of these questions, your questions, to the President. I'm honored to welcome President Barack Obama. Mr. President.
Great to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I mean, is it just me? Or is this wrong?
It seems a bit wrong.
I mean, it's like an infomercial.
It could be you too, but
there's a whole infomercial with Zillow Presents. I mean, they're a commercial real estate agency.
Yeah, now they're apparently endorsed by the president, which I thought was illegal.
And then they've got these questions, and they're shill questions. They're like the people are, they're doing selfies on their iPhone to record the video. It's not even a Skype; it's just recorded, and it's all talking points they can't even get through. You got to hear just one.
Mr. President, our first question comes from Andrew Houston in Gainesville, Florida. Let's watch his video.
Let's watch his video, which I'm sure is not produced at all to look authentic.
Good morning, Mr. President. My name is Andrew Houston in Gainesville, Florida, and I was wondering how you feel rising interest rates over the last 3 months are going to affect the housing recovery going forward. I was actually fortunate enough to refinance at historically low rates earlier this year.
These were historically low rates. Oh, wait.
I was happy to refinance. This is the way I always talk. I was happy to refinance at historically low rates for a local lender. Not, it's just...
Hello, memo to White House. We're on to you. We figured it out.
Historically low rates.
You got to put the video in the show notes. You should look at that thing. It's bizarre.
Historically
it's
low
just
rates.
Bizarre. Every one of those questions is like, it's bizarre. The whole thing is bizarre. And to what end? To what point? People are running out. There's no one giving you no historically low rate. I go there, they laugh me out of the shop.
Yeah, we have all kinds of equity, and I can't get a loan.
I have no debt, and I can't get a loan.
In fact, Eric, the Shill has a story where he was like one of the banks up there. We finally got a clue that there's a good bank up in the Pacific Northwest in Washington that matches the Mechanics Bank for being a really good bank. But this bank actually loans money. Mechanics Bank never does. It's called Umpqua. And so Umpqua Bank is where we were trying to switch everything up there to it. And I got this as an unsolicited endorsement from some guy in line at the Mechanics Bank.
Oh.
Going in there.
Really?
And the guy says, yeah, this is a great bank. I said, this is a great bank. I said, I know a guy in Texas that uses this bank. It's so good. He says, yeah, but it's not as good as Umpqua. It goes on with a long story. He says, you think this bank is good? Umpqua. There's your bank.
Really? Umpqua.
And so...
how do you spell Umpqua?
UMPQUA, I believe. Umpqua.
Umpqua. Okay.
And anyway, so Umpqua...
It actually says, welcome to Umpqua, the world's greatest bank.
Mimi thought that was hilarious.
That's great. That's some marketing for you. We want our customers to be happy. Really, really happy. That's kind of cool. I'm down with that.
Yeah, so we're going to look into Umpqua. But Eric got to run around. And they got equity. They got property, him and his dad.
Don't they own like half of Finland?
They got a lot of money, and they can't. And they got to run around from one of these other little local dipshit banks, which are up there, and they even put a lien on their property without even giving them any money, and then said they couldn't give them any money. They put a lien on the property as though they own it.
How can
this kind of sleazeballs?
How can you do that?
These banks, this is like the Bank of America that tried to foreclose on some guy's property. They never gave him a loan. The guy had the property paid off. And the sheriffs were knocking on the door because the bank said, let's take this guy's property.
I thought this happened to Eric the Shill. I thought you were talking about that. No, I know Bank of America a-holes. That's why that's why they got crashed in the Hudson.
Well, they're definitely not a good operation. Of course, talking about that sort of thing, if they don't want to change the subject completely. So this is a story I heard on Democracy Now! About some big protest over here in Richmond at the refinery. I can see the refinery from my house, and I didn't know anything about this, but they got a big run up because of, you remember 350.org or whatever it is?
Yeah, the number of particles per million of carbon.
Yeah, Bill McKibben is the guy who runs it, and I think that they've turned themselves into one of those, the Rainbow Coalition, Jesse Jackson's operation, makes most of its money through a form of intimidation.
Mm-hmm.
They go to a company and they say, look, you guys you're not getting enough black, not hiring enough blacks, you're not doing this, you're not doing that.
We're going to make some trouble until you pay.
It makes some trouble. Oh, you're going to give us a big donation? Yeah.
Okay, well, we can work something out now. Yeah, exactly.
So I believe this might be going on here, because if you listen to this clip on Standard Oil and listen to McKibben go on, and by the way, I'm going to, as someone who was in the business oil refining industry as a chemist, and then I was in the air pollution district, and my assignments were oil refineries. The Bay Area's got a bunch of oil refiners, and I can assure you that the Standard Oil refinery here in Richmond is one of the cleanest of the entire group, to be honest about it. But here's what you end up with anyway.
210 people were arrested at the Chevron refinery in Richmond, California, in the latest mass mobilization against fossil fuel dependence and climate change. Thousands of people marched to the refinery to condemn safety issues at the plant and to call for renewable alternatives to fossil fuels. The protest came ahead of Tuesday's one-year anniversary of a massive fire at the Chevron refinery, which sent toxic smoke billowing into the air, hospitalizing roughly 15,000 people with respiratory issues. The city of Richmond's filed a lawsuit against Chevron over the fire, claiming it followed a series of similar incidents. This weekend's protest was part of a wave of summer heat actions led by the environmental group 350.org. The group's founder, Bill McKibben, was among those who were arrested.
The reason that we're here is because Chevron is a really bad actor, okay? In the places where they get their oil, they're a bad actor. Ask the people in Canada fighting their fracking. Ask the people in Ecuador who've had to live with their waste. When they get it here to refine it, they're a bad actor. They sent 15,000 of their neighbors to the hospital, and they are bad actors on this planet. They have 9 billion barrels of oil in their reserves, okay? If they burn most of those, then we cannot deal with climate change.
It sounds, people, if you haven't read it, read Michael Crichton's State of Fear. This guy could have just walked out of that book. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It sounds just like it.
It's all rehearsed, and it's all part of the process. I can assure you that if Standard Oil had contributed to 350.org,
there would have been no problem. Yeah.
No problem.
So you always So it's that, by the way, is part of the program, and that is In State of Fear, which again is just a fabulous book to read. Even if you think that, like they're saying today, that there will be no ice on the Arctic in 2050. Which I still might make it. I might be able to witness the ice-free pole. Even if you buy into that, you should read this book, because this is exactly what it describes, where these where the big oil companies are all contributors to these outfits that basically protest against them. They take the money. They take the money. Say, okay, we'll ease off on you. We'll go to a BP tomorrow.
Yeah, they got Unical to go after some other places.
Yeah, whatever.
There's a bunch of refineries around here.
Exactly.
So while we're on the climate change bandwagon, I didn't want to clip this whole thing, but I just thought that this was like really getting out there. And see if you can kind of imagine where this actually, what kind of conclusions you get from the rising temperatures and war theory clip.
So it turns out that when we look at temperature, it actually looks as though the relationship is pretty continuous. So pretty much wherever you are in the modern world, we tend to observe that even increasing the temperature by a little bit leads to higher levels of conflict. But if we look at rainfall data, there does tend to be these sort of threshold effects where very extremely high levels of rainfall or extremely low levels of rainfall tend to be damaging. And that's consistent with the economic ideas you've been pointing out, particularly because extreme rainfall is very bad for agriculture.
It's interesting that you tried to do this retrospectively. Is there reliable enough data both on human activity and on the natural world to look back into the past and say, aha, here's a time where rising temperatures can be correlated with increased human violence?
There's no real conflict.
So in other words,
that means World War III is just around the corner.
Yeah, because of global warming.
That's right, because we're all pissed off.
And by the way, if it wasn't for global warming, no Hitler.
That ends the conversation, doesn't it?
I was thinking, wow.
I like that. Yeah. Well, no, I saw this too. I saw that people fight more when it's warm.
It's warm, so let's go ahead and start a war.
I don't know. I live in Austin, Texas. It's 106. We sit at home. We drink mint julep. We're not going out fighting. Like, hey, want to go fight? No, man. I'm going to drink that beer. Okay? Right. Stupid. We don't fight here. We don't. Now, I was surprised. No, I wasn't surprised. I was laughing, really, about the obvious propaganda that shows up. They're still trying to figure out how can we, get some real benefit out of the Boston bombing. We didn't remember when it first started, when it first happened. We didn't know anything about the Sarnoff brothers, and I should have pulled some of those clips. It was like, it was on Patriots Day. It was probably someone from the far right, some crazy wacko who hates taxes, hates the government. Well, luckily, and I know you saw this, we've come around now, and we have an Associated Press report, which is, of course, that means it must be true. It turns out that the dead Sarnoff brother, of course, it always has to be the one who can't talk anymore.
Well, wait, hold on a second. Are you telling me you're talking about the dead Sarnoff brother that was held down? His head was held down by a guy's boot?
Yeah, that would be the one.
And then even though he was being held down by a guy's boot, his brother runs over him?
Yes, with the car, back and forth. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that guy. Okay, I just want to get that straight.
This is Tamerlan. So they've tracked down this story, and this is you couldn't make it any crazier. So his mother, the boy's mother, Zubedite Sarnoff, who was also a little bit weird in this, she tried to make ends meet for her family by working as a home health aide after the family arrived in the U.S., which, by the way, I think you can't just become a home health aide. You can go help people. This warrants some investigation, exactly what that is. But okay. One of her clients in 2010, so by now I guess she's been trained, was Donald Larkin of Newton, Massachusetts, who was disabled after he was shot in the face 40 years ago during a robbery of a convenience store where he worked. Now, Mr. Larkin, I'm reading from the Wall Street Journal now. The BBC has their own version of it. Miraculously survived. But people close to the family, no sources, people close to the family said his faculties did not survive. He was intrigued with, and I'm quoting now, far-flung conspiracies, they said. He subscribed to newspapers and journals.
I love this.
Oh, no, I got to read this to you. This is crazy. This is the Wall Street Journal. He subscribed to newspapers and journals that doubted the Holocaust and described the attacks of September 11th, Oklahoma City, and the Newtown School as plots by unseen elites, the U.S. and Israeli governments. Now, Mr. Larkin couldn't be interviewed, said his lawyer, Jason Rosenberg. The shooting damaged the executive function area of Mr. Larkin's brain. What is the executive function area? I got to talk to my brain professor about that. Making it difficult for his client to make decisions and impairing, quote, his awareness of the realities of the world. So now, if you believe in an alternative theory about...
this is the messaging. You're talking about messaging.
Yeah, the messaging is if you believe in alternative theories than the conspiracy theories propagated by the government about September 11th in Oklahoma City, then you are equal to a brain-damaged person. Who has
been shot
shot in the head. Now, so Mr. Sarnoff, that would be the dead one, began asking his brother to care. Oh, Mrs. Sarnoff. So Mom began asking Tamerlan, the dead brother, or his brother, it says, to care for Mr. Larkin when she wasn't available. Sounds like a real healthcare operation to me. Mr. Larkin's wife, Rosemary, a quadriplegic, also needed help at home. Mr. Sarnoff seemed to have found a kindred spirit in Mr. Larkin. This is really conjecture here. They became friends and had animated talks about politics, people close to the Larkin family said. Mr. Larkin also gave him his readings, they said. A Wall Street Journal reporter recently visited Mr. Sarnoff's apartment in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and read a stack of newspapers mostly borrowed from Mr. Larkin that alleged nefarious conspiracies. So let me get this straight. So a Wall Street Journal reporter walks into, I guess, something that should be part of a crime scene, the Sarnoff's apartment in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and there's a stack of newspapers, which he then concludes or somehow deduces were borrowed from Mr. Larkin, and they allege nefarious conspiracies. Let's talk about that. The papers included The First Freedom, an Alabama-based newspaper that espouses, quote, equal rights for whites, and whose websites feature a Confederate flag.
Oh.
There you go. Another was The Sovereign, a New York-based publication that alleges the U.S. is under the sway of Israeli lobbyists and that Israel and the Department of Homeland Security were, quote, deeply involved in the Boston bombings. Neither paper returned requests for comment. And here's the one that just slays me. Mr. Sarnoff got his own subscription to American Free Press, a paper that our friends from the Southern Law... Isn't it the Southern Poverty Law Center? Well, they say here...
Yes, it's Southern...
They say the Southern Law Poverty Center, but I think that's incorrect. I think it's the Southern Poverty Law Center. Said that this paper promotes anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. A spokeswoman for the paper denied it had such an agenda, saying the paper publishes, quote, news that established media won't. So again, we're getting very close now. Oh, if you if you say that you talk about things that the established media won't, you're probably a Jew hater. And here it comes. She confirmed that someone bought Mr. Sarnoff a Get Acquainted 16-week subscription in December. It expired in April at about the time of the Boston Marathon attack. This, to me, is smoking gun. He didn't get the subscription. Someone did. Someone did. Can you say setup? Possibly.
Yeah, and it was only a 1-year subscription. Obviously, they knew when...
16 week. 16 week.
Just a time to end when they didn't care anymore.
I got to read some more of this.
And by the way, it is Southern Poverty.
Yeah, it's incorrect in the Wall Street Journal. Government investigators say Islamist radicalism was Mr. Sarnoff's motive in planting explosives near the finish line of the race. He frequented jihadi websites, authorities said, And he and his brother built their pressure cooker bombs with the help of Al-Qaeda's online magazine Inspire, which published an article titled, How to Build a Bomb in the Kitchen of Your Mom. So this is also all conjecture. None of it is proved, but being printed as fact in the Wall Street Journal. Now, quote, this is Bruce Hoffman from the director of the security studies at Georgetown University.
By the way, I just do not see Al-Qaeda types having any sort of sense of humor insofar as they would make a headline like that. That was not only it was a humorous pun, which I do not believe is like a mainstay of the Arabic culture.
They have not been doing a lot of stand-up, the Al-Qaeda. This weekend at the Comedy Store, all right, quote, they, meaning the brothers, were jihadi autodidacts. Wow. And no one person shaped all of their thinking. Jihadi autodidacts, John. How does that work? Mary Ellen O'Toole, former profiler for the FBI, said she doubted that Mr. Sarnoff's extremist American readings would have formed his opinions, but they could have reaffirmed them. And then, what do we have? We've so far we've got 9/11, Oklahoma City. We have hating Jews. We have, what else was it? Oh, Jewish lobby. Jews run Congress. What we need to throw?
Homegrown radicals in there with autodidact.
Wait, autodidact. We've got the Newtown,
which means the self-taught.
Wait. We can throw. Let's just throw one more on top of it. Mr. Sarnoff also had a marked-up copy of the Protocols of the Elders of Zion. You kidding me?
What did they have? Some sort of a checklist? Can you add this? Can you add that? This is like Leno on that clip where he starts throwing New York Times, Ellsberg, stand-up guy, stripper girlfriend. Just throws all the memes in at once.
Now, it's
like a meme dump.
Are you familiar with this whole idea, the Protocols of the Elders of Zion?
Yeah, everybody is.
No, I don't think everybody is, but it is what people who call others out as conspiracy theorists and nut jobs, they love pulling out this Protocols of the Elders of Zion. And here, the Wall Street Journal is kind enough to explain to us what it is: a long discredited tract penned in Russia at the beginning of the 20th century. It describes an alleged plan by Jewish leaders to take over the world. Mr. Sarnoff scrawled 22 words he translated from English to Russian on a back page, beginning with Gentile and ending with Mason. Gentile, Mason. And the Wall Street Journal, they just have, they're just stumbling. Did they walk in, just open some guy's apartment and all this evidence is all over the floor? Where's this coming from? This cannot be taken serious as journalism.
No, somebody fed this to him, whoever it is. And I don't know. It's a very, I'm sure it's a compelling read. Oh, my God.
It's really...
What next? Holy crap. You mean they even believe that stupid old book? Oh, my God. Oh. And he uses the word autodidacticism. Dude.
Autodidacticism. Jihadi autodidact. Wow. I'm bi-curious autodidact.
Okay. Well, that's definitely the piece of crap article of the day.
But BBC has a very similar article. The Wall Street Journal expanded in a better way, which is more fun to read.
Well, it's more Americanized. BBC can only put up with so much of that stuff.
Hey, did we not put in the Red Book somewhere that Tor, that, everyone's talking, everyone's like, oh, get Tor, get on the Onion router, get on the Tor.
No, you never went in the Red Book, but you have mentioned it, and what you've done, you've mentioned it. JC, I know Buzzkill Jr. is always harping on this. It was developed for the government. That is a government project.
Yeah, and I've always said, who the hell would want to, use that if it was developed by the government? It's got to be compromised. Oh, gee, what turns out it's compromised.
It's compromised. Yeah, and all those outlets are all
and people are getting arrested. Wow.
Well, it's always like the funny thing about Tor, I always thought was that you volunteered to be a Tor outlet. You know, the way Tor works. For people that don't know, we can explain it quickly. It's
go ahead, please.
It's called the Onion Router, and what happens is you send a packet into this. It's like a cloud, but it's an onion in it, and it gets encrypted and de-encrypted and swapped around and switched to here to there and there, and the IP's changed, and it pops out at some anonymous port. As you know, it just shows up and comes out this weird port that's got an IP that's hooked to the guy, whoever owns that port. And guys are always getting in trouble because a lot of kiddie porn and stuff would go through his port at home, but because he was a volunteer, supposedly. And I kept hearing these stories. This is what got me suspicious. I kept hearing these stories about people who said, I'm going to be part of the Tor network, and I'm going to be one of the exit ports. And then the guy would always supposedly be picked up by the cops every so often because what was coming out of his port with his specific IP address was all kinds of weird junk.
Yeah.
And I said, well, then nobody would ever become a volunteer to be an exit port unless they were in the government and they didn't have to worry about all this harassment from law enforcement.
Exactly.
And ta-da!
Ta-da!
It's exactly what happened.
Yeah. So nuts. The giant voice system, now that, I'm just seeing stories about this every single day. People are getting pretty annoyed by their iPhones with Amber Alerts. Your iPhone, iOS 6, but I got some guys who are running iOS 7, and the Amber Alerts are just popping off day and night. And I think you can turn off some, but you may not be able to turn off the giant voice system when the president needs to address you. And Jeff Pelton, one of our producers, sent me a screenshot. Now you tell me what's wrong with this. So it's Monday, August 5th. He sent me a screenshot. I see AT&T 4G Amber Alert Boulevard, California. Amber Alert license plate CWCU 986 California, blue Nissan Versa 4-door. What's wrong with this?
I don't know.
It's not. It's alerting me to a car.
Yeah.
It's not telling me what's going on. It's not saying that.
Oh, they had that's exact same Amber Alert all over yesterday on all the freeways that normally tell you it takes 10 minutes to get here or there. It says It says child abduction.
No, but it doesn't say that.
Oh, why not?
That's my question. So now the government is just like, oh, we just need to find Dvorak. Lexus, white, 1982, license. It's not saying that this is a child abduction.
That's what you want to do. You want to slowly devolve the system so it's got nothing to do with Amber.
Exactly.
And it's just you're trying to get this. It'll be bank robbers. Then it'll be citizens that are of interest, persons of interest.
Yes, exactly.
Well, hello.
Yeah, but we still need to tell people about this.
Yeah, we do, and that's what we're doing. That would be expected. Yeah, we got this system. Let's use it. In fact, there was a situation in Seattle where they had a real Amber Alert, but these idiot cops decided, just do it after rush hour. It'll slow down traffic too much. The girl ended up dead or something.
Oops.
I got an off-the-wall one here. So I heard this commercial and I said, oh, this is interesting because, somebody's finally paying attention to the high fructose corn syrup controversy, even though you have this huge corn lobby that was just promoting the sweetener, right?
Yeah, I got the clip.
We know about this.
Mm-hmm.
And so by listening to this commercial, and it's so well done, and it's such a blast against high fructose corn syrup in terms of putting a meme to pound a hoe. Everyone has this sense of it. I don't know, maybe I shouldn't be eating the ketchup. I should get the organic. It's got sugar. Mm-hmm. I think the sugar lobby actually wrote this and scripted this. Not only them, but some really refined public relations person. Because when you walk away from this Yoplait commercial that just came out, about we don't use it anymore. We don't use high fructose corn syrup anymore because you told us not to. You, the wise public. I think this is the biggest slam, the biggest threat to the industry I've ever seen. Listen to this.
When you asked us to remove high fructose corn syrup from Yoplait Original and Light, we were like, sure, no problem. And you were like, thanks. But what about thick and creamy and whips? And we were like, done and done. Now it's out of everything Yoplait makes. And you were all, yum. And we're like, is it just us, or has this been a really good conversation? And you were like, I want to talk, but my mouth is full of yogurt. Yoplait, it is so good.
You had me at thick and creamy.
So that was what's the actress that was on Friends, and a bunch of, she's very
that's what I'm saying, thick and creamy.
She's going on. No, she's expensive.
Yeah.
The commercial's well structured, and the visuals showed the yogurt, and it says no HFC, no high fructose, no. And I first said, well, this is a good step in the right direction. Then I realized that I'm watching. Obviously, sugar industry finally got their act
they got
together.
their idea. They got the right people. They're getting the right message out, and they use sexual overtones. It's perfect.
Yeah, there's tons of it. And
That's how you
got
do
the kind of that sound like she's got the dick in her mouth.
Yeah, we're so incredibly good, thick and creamy.
I'm too busy.
Wait a minute, who was the actress?
Lisa Kudrow.
Oh yeah, she's kind of she's sexy in a kinky way.
I guess that's probably one way of describing it. But that commercial is a work of art.
Yeah,
in terms of propaganda.
Well, that's what it is. It's all propaganda, but that's okay. Lisa Kudrow. Yeah, she's funny. I like her.
Yeah, and she's the one who could pull off the mumbling sound while she's talking.
And I don't think people understand that the sex thing is huge in these commercials. And I mean the way thick and creamy. It's like, yeah, I want some.
I can't talk because my mouth is full.
It's full of thick and creamy. Write that down as a potential show title, John. Thick and creamy. Yeah. We're about to get into thanking our producers, and something popped up on my screen a couple days ago that I thought would help us. We have new people coming onto the show all the time, and I wanted to give an example of why we chose for the model that we've chosen, which is the value for value model, where you get the show for free. The show is out there. You don't ever have to do anything. You enjoy it, whatever you do. But we will ask you to consider if you are paying for other things in your life that perhaps give you less value, certainly on the entertainment scale, and perhaps on the news and information scale. And we do this because we can't talk the way we talk about things with any type of commercial conflict. It doesn't work. And this is what the mainstream, which is essentially kind of minority media these days. Less and less people are. Was it Bezos bought the Washington Post? I'm like, wow, $250 million, and there's 400,000 people subscribe to it.
Yeah, that's
not a lot.
No, but it's Washington that subscribes to it.
No, I know. I want to talk about the Washington Post. I'm just saying that it's the minority. It makes total sense. Washington is the minority of the country, and that's their little thing. And I want to talk with you about that because you actually wrote a column about it, which I think was interesting. But this is the conflict that is going on right now between NBC News and NBC Entertainment. Have you been following this?
No, not really.
So NBC News. So there's a couple of Hillary series and documentaries coming out. So this is great. So NBC Entertainment, who can't buy a hit, is coming out with I think it's a mini-series or a series about Hillary Clinton. And NBC News, of course, is conflicted about this. But here is, this has so many layers to it. It's just, 2 minutes. I figure we just listen to it so you can hear the dissatisfaction internally, how you are being deprived of information because of worthless chewing gum crap that has to be put on instead of information, where the real money is in the broadcast industry. And it's funny because this is Chuck Todd of NBC News on MSNBC with the morning jerk-off show, and they're complaining about NBC. The whole thing, it's many, many layers of wrong.
The two entities are sometimes at war with each other. I can't tell you how many fights we've had internally about whether to cover, we want to cover some live news event, and those guys on the West Coast, they want to run some rerun of Parks and Recreation or whatever.
Great show. I love how someone is so in touch he actually says Doogie Howser. which I don't think has been on television for 15 years. This is how in touch these people are. Yeah,
because they'll make money that way, and they don't want to, and so it's actually the relationship is bad. It's never great. It's either okay or really bad.
I can't believe we're airing our corporate dirty laundry. That's the way business works.
Let me just say that the thing is, the fact that Nicole, who comes here and is a good bit, and that you've worked for other networks, asked me before, hey, is there a real division, makes you realize that people really don't understand that, Chuck, as you just said.
That's right.
Like news hates entertainment.
And entertainment hates news.
And this is the joke. That, the thing that is not discussed here is that news promotes the entertainment by design, because that's the only way they can suck up to these guys to keep doing news shows is by promoting the stupid entertainment division.
Right, because all we do is take...
What?
I was going to say, in fact, we have even on local channels, but generally on national and on 60 Minutes, for example, you'll see a lot of this. They'll be promoting a Viacom star, and they'll have them on and do a great in-depth thing because Viacom, is related.
Right.
But on local channels, it says, who's going to be on Letterman tonight? Who's going to?
Gee, let me.
What's J-Lo or what's Lindsay Lohan up to?
I was
today?
just pondering who's Jay going to have on tonight.
Anytime we take up precious time that they could sell ads, promoting America's Got Talent. So,
and hear the disdain they have for shows that are actually making mony.
But
notice the sneer he said that way. I love
it. I say that. Hey, actually, please, NBC Entertainment, can you please make some money? That's what we're all trying.
Oh my God, the gloves really come off.
No, watching this.
No.
Oh no, you didn't just make fun of the boss. Boy.
Thank God for all of the cable channels, right?
Yeah,
exactly. Bravo, USA, number one network. But the real issue is the fact that Nicole didn't know that.
You also have to understand what they just said there. Thank God for all the cable channels. The reason they say that is because these productions, which NBC can't buy a hit with, would cost too much money if they didn't have these secondary markets where they can have reruns going forever on Bravo and all these other TNT.
That's somebody who's well informed about sort of the machinations of how the media works. This is why this miniseries is a total nightmare for NBC News, because it doesn't, we know there's this giant firewall. We know we have nothing to do with it. We know that we'd love probably to be as critical or whatever it is going to be if it comes out, but there's nothing we can do about it, and we're going to only own the negative, whether it's negative because, the Clinton people are upset that it's too tough on them, or negative because the Republicans think it's this glorification of her. No matter what, only we are going to own it, because people are going to see the Peacock and they see NBC and they see NBC News and they think, well, they can't be that separate.
So you get the negative and they get the cash.
Correct.
It sounds like I've been in a lot of deals like that before.
I'd like to be on the other side of that deal sometimes. Right.
And there you have it. They all really want to be in show business where the real money is.
That's a good kicker. A subtle but little point made at the end. Yeah, I'd rather be over there with the pretty girls.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda.
Exactly.
Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh, yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda in the morning.
All right, we do have a lot of people to thank today. We do have a little special promotion for the anniversary. Since we were married on 8/8/88, we asked for $88.88, and we got quite a few people who chimed in.
You know what this shows to me? I thought about this, and I'm like, wow, a lot of people, really came in with their donations for 88.88, and it shows to me that people, despite what you think and popular opinion, really do like you.
Well, they like Mimi. So,
but I'm kidding. But it's a very family type thing. I really love seeing this.
It's a family run. This is essentially the family that keeps the show going.
Exactly. That's
and
my point.
We have the big daddy, Grand Duke Pelsmakers, and all the others. Miguel Espinal, though, $150 from New York, New York. Miguel says, think hell, but replace the H with a G. I got the way to pronounce it. I'm in California. If I can't pronounce Miguel, I don't know what I can do. He said some comments. If you ever decide to come to New York, I got the friends and family hookup at the Marriott. Okay. Get a deal at the Marriott. It's fine with me. There's the Marriott in Times Square is a nice big but nice hotel.
So what kind of deal can we get?
I don't know. He doesn't say.
I like it.
Let's find out. Mark Borghese in Las Wages, Nevada, 9131. So penny. This is an 8888 donation, but he's made a switcheroo on it. That's a penny for every day of John and Mimi's marriage. 9,131 days, but who's counting?
Imagine.
Well, apparently, I am.
Imagine if you would put a penny aside every day.
Yeah, you'd have $91. Big deal.
Wow, whoa.
No, I'm not demeaning the donation. I'm just saying if this is the way you'd save money for being married for 25 years and you end up with less than $100, you can't even, get a decent meal nowadays.
The lords, dames, knights, slaves, and elites, please be upstanding for another donation from the Grand Duke von Pelsmacher.
Eventually, you do just get jingles on this show. I mean,
eventually, we hope to make it an all jingle show, but we haven't gotten there yet.
Jingle. You imagine an all jingle donation segment where it's just one after another. Oh God, yeah, that would be nice.
He wanted to donate in the day itself. We squeezed him into today's spreadsheet, and he says, "Happy anniversary." Nietzscheev Anatoly from Russia, 8888. Along with my congratulations to John and Mimi, I'd like to remind everybody that 5 years ago at midnight of 2008, Georgia, led by crazy tie-eating maniac and bush puppet Saakashvili, opened MRL fire on the capital of South Ossetia and started a tank assault on the city, killing hundreds of Ossetian civilians and 10 Russian peacekeepers. Russia's military answer was treated by Western media as unprovoked aggression, and only no agenda was bang on from the start.
That's right.
Albeit a late start.
But that's still in the lexicon. Everyone will say, "Oh man, Russia attacked Georgia." No, Georgia attacked Russia, and it's been admitted, but no one remembers it that way.
Right. Well, we have one Russian who's donated to the anniversary amount because he remembers that the show is like that. We have a lot of stuff that we've brought up. Of course, like the forced landing, which I have a little clip of another version. Apparently, Glenn Greenwald has kind of changed the way he structures his wording because of that.
Oh, really? Okay.
Fake forced landing that took place with the guy from Bolivia. Anyway, the names of the people. These are all 8888 donors. Jason Doolin in Las Wages. Sir Bernie Attima in Hinton, Iowa. Wayne Larcombe in Sunnybank Hills, Queensland. Sir Thomas Nussbaum in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Kent O'Rourke, Frostburg, Maryland. Ricardo Zanatti in Camarillo, Brillo. Morislav Marinov. Aliso Viejo. Sir Marinov, exactly. Borislav Marinov. Sir Aliso Viejo. Sir Bill Hertha in Thornhill, Ontario. Baron Sir Dr. Sharkey. Craig Whiting, East Kilbride, UK. Larry Stewart, Norman, Oklahoma. Michael Miller over here in Tiburon, California. John Schumann in Madison, Wisconsin. Jacob Scherer in Crystal, Minnesota. Minnesotnuts. Daniel McTuff in Silver Springs, Maryland. Wade Deming in Anchorage, Alaska. Richard Gardner in Enmore, New South Wales. Chad Christian in Erie, Colorado.
Hey,
those are the people
Chad.
that say,
hold
congratulations, John and Mimi. Here's more value for value. The show armed me with talking points and a short temper when confronted with friends spouting mainstream media memes the other night. Lost some friends, but saved my sanity.
That's right. No agenda where you lose your friends. And that concludes our 8888 segment. I will point out that 8888 also, if you send, so you have 73s, which is, hey, see you, nice to meet you. But 88s is hugs and kisses, John, in case you didn't know. That's also kind of a nice extra bonus to the meme. Hugs and kisses. And I would also like to say, on behalf of the Curry family, happy anniversary to you and Mimi.
Well, thank you very much.
And I'm not giving you any $88.
Now, I thought one of these guys had actually come up with 88, and I'm looking for it on here. Well, I'll have to thank him later, but one of the donors came with, I thought it was 8800. before the mailing request went out. He was actually the first one, and I'm going to have to now dig his email up. Paul Groves in Wangaratta, Victoria, Australia, 7451. Seemed John Karma worked the last time, got an interview even after Adam stepped on John. Ow! Who was about to read my note. Luckily, John managed to slip in my karma request by the time this is read, but be more hours away from having said interview. It would be a job karma top-off, please. Could you give him a job karma, I guess?
Well, I'll give him a top-up. You're in charge of the top-offs, okay? That's your job. I'm not touching that.
You've got karma.
And, ladies and gentlemen...
69, dudes!
Yay!
69's still alive, and we're going to just name people who gave it out here, including, again, Michael Miller, who sent a 6969 in over here from Tiburon, fearful that we're going to lose the thread, but not the case. So Michael Miller in Tiburon, Jennifer Harley in Waterloo, Ontario, with a great birthday call-out coming. Paul Vella in Milton Keynes, Buckinghamshire. Sure.
Buckinghamshire.
UK. Kristen Drenzek in Palmer, Alaska. Aaron Murphy in Rio Rancho, New Mexico. R.M. Donovan in Leiden. No comment. John Haller in Missoula, Montana. He says, any show that mentions H.V. Coltonborn deserves my support. And then there's Dan Sorkin. Baroness Tanya of Manhattan comes in with 6969 saying she sent me a hand. She wrote a check.
Longhand note from the Baroness,
yes,
I presume? Yes.
She says after hearing, her H's look like L's, how much PayPal takes off the top of the donation, I am switching to checks.
Nice.
I'm planning to set up a monthly check payment from my bank. No postage, no fees, and it's just as easy as PayPal. All the best to the best podcast in the universe. By the way, I can write in cursive, but I won't subject you to that. What is this then?
Hey, I was reading about this, that if you write notes in longhand, it's very difficult. Machines can't really optical character recognition doesn't work very well on longhand. Certainly cursive.
Right, especially that one that they use on your
mail.
Postage
on your mail. But so you want to do your address in all block letters, but you want to write all your notes in longhand. I think that we need to be returning back to the days of longhand and Morse code.
It essentially looks like code to the machine.
It does. It's like, I don't know what this is.
It's encrypted.
I don't know if we can break the algorithm.
Matthew Roman in Huntersville, North Carolina, 6969. And finally, Edward Hines in Jacksonville, Florida.
And that wraps it up.
69, dude.
That's good. Keep it going, people.
A few others. We got 5533 from Nathan Craddock in Los Angeles.
Now, he had his PayPal weekly subscription canceled. This keeps happening. And it's bad enough that the subscription gets canceled, but then they send you a note saying, no agenda show. Those guys don't want your money. It's no good.
It's no good.
We've canceled your subscription.
Pretty much what it says. And apparently this Nathan guy loves it when I refer to Rex, the fantastic coding, or actually scripting more of the
I think
coding.
I've referred to Rex more than you have, but okay. You wrote the book. That's the difference.
Jonathan Rose, double nickels on the dime from Netanya, Israel. He says there's the latest stipend from the Mossad for my propagation of the Jewish agenda.
Good work. He said, sorry, it's only a pittance, but of course we Jews are cheap.
Yeah. Jay Colin Beck in Edmonton, Alberta, another double nickels on the dime. And he needs we'll give some karma to him at the end for house relocation. And finally, $50 each from Daniel Eber, Christopher Walker, John Anderson, Lafayette, Louisiana, Paul Levy in Grinnell, Iowa. Let me slide this up a little bit. Patrick Macomb in Spartanburg, South Carolina. And finally, Mac Harbor, LLC in Winnipeg, Manitoba, home of the Jets, and finally Sir Alan Bean again over here in Oakland. He's a monthly regular. I want to thank them and everybody else who helped us out. There's a bunch of people with all kinds of comments here.
I got
further down the list.
I got a note from the back office about a special request from Jennifer Harley, who was one of our 69 Swells Enough donors. I'd really appreciate it if you could give a shout out to my husband Xenon. He'd also love it if you called him a real stand-up shitison or something similar, including the word shitison. That's the most important thing. He listens to you religiously, and this was the best birthday present I could think of for him. He'll be so happy. He might even do a dance. It's always lovely when spouses hand in a donation for their loved one.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic.
And I bet he is a real stand-up shitison.
I don't know what kind of a toilet you'd use.
Thick and creamy. That's what she said, thick and creamy, didn't she?
No, that was the other girl.
No, I know, but the Lisa girl.
Yeah, no, Lisa said thick and creamy.
Thick and creamy. We have a show twice a week, and we don't have a network. We do have a back office consisting of family members of John, and which is fine. It's fine.
Kibitzes.
That's fine. Yeah. And
it's a low budget operation. We do our best.
We do our best, and I think that we deliver you value. And if you don't think so, fine. Just enjoy for free. And if you do, then help support us. You can do that by going to
Dvorak.org/NA.
It's interesting. The back office has Jennifer Harley's note in the birthday list as well. So, hey, Xenon, you're a real stand-up shitison. And Sir Bernie Adama, belated shout-out to his son, John, who celebrated on August 5th. Happy birthday from your friends here at the best podcast in the universe. Now we have some title changes. Let's see. We've got Thomas Pouliard, who becomes Baron Thomas of Bahrain. The Baron of Bahrain, and he can divvy that up however he wants to. And we've got 2 knightings, which we're going to take care of. So you grab your blade there, John. Yep, got it. Perfect. Josh McDonald, step forward along with William Ashby. Gentlemen, both of you today join the Knights of the No Agenda Roundtable. Thank you very much for your donations, the amount of $1,000 or more. I hereby pronounce thee Sir Funk and Sir William, Knights of the No Agenda Roundtable. Gentlemen, hookers and blow, rent boys and Chardonnay, hot pants and booze, long-haired heavy metal guys and scotch, witches and beer, Rubenesque women and rosé, geisers and sake, vodka and vanilla, bong hits and bourbon, sparkling cider and escorts, mutton and mead, and breast milk and pablum. Right here for you at the round table. Yes, thank you very much. And remember that you can, if you have received your knighthood, go to noagendanation.com/rings. That's where you can fill out all the information pertinent to your ring, which, of course, you can go out and hit people in the mouth with. Thank you again for all of your support, and thank you also for the love that you've shown for John and Mimi. Very nice. You know, Ms. Miki and I had our anniversary. I don't think we even talked about it. It was just dumb. We could have gotten $1 from everybody for our first anniversary.
One. Well, yeah, that's something.
Well, we almost, let's see, August 20th. The 20th? Hold on a second. What is I think it was the 20th. It was on a show day that that we both quit smoking. It's almost been a year.
You got married the day you quit smoking?
No, our wedding gift to each other was that we would quit smoking.
Oh.
The 25th.
No re-gifting.
No trade-ins. Oh, and I also must give karma to everybody who requested it.
You've got karma.
Perfect. Yeah, August 25th is our 1-year no smoking anniversary. I think that's pretty good. I'm pretty proud, and especially
well, you should be, and hopefully you can just
going back,
never smoke again.
Going back to the Netherlands, and everyone's smoking around there. Oh, I forgot to mention
as bad
something.
As Denmark.
I forgot to mention something. When we arrived, was it yesterday, day before yesterday, last Tuesday night, whatever, from Atlanta in Austin. As we're coming into land, I see the emergency crash vehicles with their lights somewhere off the, like on the apron or whatever, off the runway. And and I'm not going to go.
This is in Hartsfield.
No, this is Bergstrom, Austin. So we're landing in Austin. And upon approach, I look over because I'm always, I'm a pilot, so I'm looking at what's going on. I see the crash vehicles. I'm like, well, that's weird that they've got their lights flashing. I'm like, So there's a couple of possibilities. One is we're on fire and no one has told us. That's very possible. So look, is there any foam on the runway? No, I don't see any foam. And perfect landing, everything's fine. And then the captain comes on the horn. And he says, ladies and gentlemen, as we're taxiing in, when we get to the gate, I'd like you to wait for a moment so the honor guard can get off the plane first, who are accompanying a fallen soldier who we transported back home to Austin. And this is really weird, because you're happy to be home, and then all of a sudden this and the whole plane goes like complete silence. I was like, wow. So ding. We're at the gate, and then everyone waits, but maybe 5 minutes, right? And then everyone's getting up because I guess the guy. Remember, we got the first class upgrade, so I couldn't see what was going on behind us. But right underneath my window.
Well, Dave, wait, hold on a second. Didn't the honor guard, weren't they on the plane getting? Or is it? There was a coffin in the plane, but no honor guard on the plane.
Yeah,
the honor guard was outside,
no,
and so they had
two.
to get the coffin out.
So you have the guys who accompany the coffin on the plane, but then did
they get off?
Let me backtrack for a second. So as we land, now we're taxiing towards the gate. I see what the crash vehicles are. There's two. So it's they've got the honor guard, they got the hearse, they got everything. The two there are two fire trucks, and they start they start like a bridge of water. So the plane goes underneath. Like an arc of water, which it kind of gave me goosebumps. Actually, that was kind of the honoring the fallen.
That was cool.
Yeah, it was like wow. Everyone was really quiet. So then so the guys the honor guard who accompanied the coffin, they got off first, and everyone's like getting off. And right underneath my window, I see the cargo door open, and I actually put a picture on my blog. If you go to blog.curry.com, you can see it right there. And I took a number of pictures. Because I witnessed this entire scene taking place. It was chilling, John. I mean, so I see the coffin coming out. I see the honor guard coming up. I see the family. I see, maybe wife or sister, falling to the ground, collapsing in grief. Just grief. And it was really hurt. It was hurtful. I couldn't get up. I felt it would be wrong to not wait until this coffin, this soldier was in the hearse and gone. I couldn't do it. And there were maybe 3 or 4 other people in the whole plane, but no one said, "Hey, you got to get off." That was nice. I'm just sitting there in awe.
Yeah, hey, get out.
Hey, don't watch that. But it was really it touched me. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
You've posted a picture that never gets posted.
This is the point.
It's a good picture. I would advise people to go to blog.curry.com because this is the picture that the mainstream media
never
won't post.
No, they won't post.
They decided no, we're not going to know. We're not going to do
It's not on television. They never show this, and and then I went and I do this from time to time, and you look it up. There's like this past week, another 8 servicemen and women died. You don't hear about it. They never talk about it. And during the Vietnam War, it was every night they showed the flag draped coffins, and that really changes your perception. It really makes you think about what's going on. In fact, we went to
you don't need to see this, boy.
Yeah, they've collectively decided that, right? I mean, we've talked about this. These wars have not been televised. You don't see the death and destruction.
Right.
And we went to Christina, my daughter.
By the way, this is on purpose because they know it would disgust the public, and they get pissed and they'd vote these idiots out of office, but they won't. But the media plays the game, and that's the end of it. So these guys stay.
Exactly. That picture taken with an iPhone 5, by the way, not bad, huh?
No, but you're shooting it through a piece of
window,
crap glass,
plastic,
and I still think it's actually a good picture.
Yeah.
It's got a nice composition. It's a great shot. It's a good picture.
And you see off to the right, there's the family. I mean, I didn't post the shots, but the woman was just, she's collapsed. She's crying. She's sobbing on the ground. You know, and you don't know the story. You know, you don't know exactly who's who, but you do know the story. You know, that's kind of it. You do know the story. And then I tried to Google I want to know who is this kid. You can't even find a single story about, you know, soldier coming home to Austin. Nothing. Flabbergasting to me.
Welcome.
We were at this. So Christina and her girlfriend said, "Oh, you know, we want to hang out with you guys. Let's go and let's do something fun. Let's go to a red carpet premiere of a movie in Amsterdam, and you know, it'll be cool. We'll look like a family unit, you know, which of course is, you know, we're an odd bunch together, but it'll be fun. And we'll go see a movie, and we'll have dinner afterwards, and we'll hang out." So they had kind of put together this whole afternoon night, and we go to see. So we go do the red carpet premiere in Amsterdam of The Lone Ranger.
Oh. Considered by most to be one of the worst movies ever made.
No, it is not the worst movie ever made. It is the biggest piece of crap worst movie ever made. And it drags on forever. But we do the red carpet, and you know, and then what happens is you stand there for pictures and video, and then we go in, and then there's always a couple of reporters, so-called reporters, and one of them said, you know, they kind of accost you, and it's part of the deal. You know, you kind of got to talk to him for a minute. And he said, "Hey, you know, we have this, you know, this thing we're doing. Like, you know, if you were Miss Universe, you know, what would you want for the world?" Like, really, you're asking me this question? And just before I knew it, and this is Holland. You know, they have the last time they think I'm still a disc jockey, you know, at MTV. I don't know where I've been, what I've done. They have no clue. They really have no clue. And I say, well, you know, I would really like for us to stop dropping bombs from drones on brown people who live in the sand. And I'd like for the brown people to tell their leaders to stop trying to kill us over here. And you could just see the guy like, what? It just doesn't compute, you know.
That ain't gonna be used. Who's that guy?
Well, this is another thing. So, what you doing these days? How do you make money? Well, I carry Mickey's bag, and I set up her lights and stuff. And it's right. You're absolutely right. Nowhere is there any.
Did you say noagendashow.com?
Do you think that
should have given him a disc?
Mickey promoted No Agenda, big time. She got it in a big newspaper.
Good.
Yeah. But they don't care. All they care about is,
somebody's doing their job.
So, when are you guys going to have kids? That's the only thing they care about. So, you're going to have kids? You're going to have kids? It's like, it's really so stupid. And then my daughter, bless her, she jumps in and says, No, they're waiting for the grandkids. Me and my girlfriend are going to make them. and then they look at the, well, how are you going to do that? And her girlfriend was like, "Oh, you don't see my cock hanging right here?" It's very funny. That was on. They did broadcast that. Actually, that was pretty funny.
No.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Well, we've done Holland.
You got left on the cutting room floor.
I'm out. I'm just set dressing.
Well, yeah. If you're gonna go get a lecture about drones,
they don't want to hear me. Oh,
this is the greatest movie I've ever seen.
I got a couple funny things now. We got some time here. We got about 20 minutes. I got some pretty good clips. Jen Psaki, who, by the way, she is the new spokeshole, the red soulless devil, the ginger of the State Department, who has taken over for Vicki Nuland, who has slept her way to the top. Well, I'll say it. Jen Psaki, by the way, appears quite often in the This Town book about Washington, and she's quite a mover and a shaker. Now you recall that
the most condescending person I've ever seen in this job.
Well, she and our friend Matt from Reuters have been going back and forth about the status of Egypt, because as we know, by law in the United States, by U.S. code, if this is a coup, if this has been a forceful regime change by the military, then all foreign aid must stop by law. So, of course, whatever we do, we don't want to call it a coup. And Matt is just, this guy, he's going to get some Boston breaks one of these days, because he is just going at her, and I think he finally got her a little bit flustered, although not really, because at the end of the day, she just will stand there with a stone cold face and just not call it what it is. But listen to this exchange, which I found to be quite entertaining.
The first question about Senator McCain's comments, you gave, you said our position has not changed, as you just did with Morsi. Mm-hmm. On McCain's comments, though, our position has not changed. Then you said the U.S. government has stated what our position is. Could you remind us all what your position actually is? Because as I recall, your position was that you don't have a position. And that's not quite, is that correct?
Matt, I think you know our position, which is that
tell me.
There was a determination made that we not need to make a designation.
So your position is that you do not have a position.
Our position
Correct?
is that we do not need to make a designation. Mm-hmm. Oh, go ahead, Nicholas.
Yeah, does Deputy Secretary Burns plan to meet with President Morsi? We talked about it yesterday, but
I don't have any other plans for that on his schedule.
Can I just go back to your answer to my question?
Yes.
You do understand that
yes.
You don't have a position on this, don't you?
We have not made a determination.
But you go and say our position has not changed, but you don't have a position. You don't have a position that could have changed. A position means taking a side or taking a stance or making a determination. And since you didn't do that, you do not, by definition, have a position.
We have.
Correct?
I would disagree with you, Matt.
You have a position on whether what happened in Egypt was a coup.
We have determined that we do not need to make a determination.
Isn't that the same as not having a position?
We have determined we don't have to make a determination. Where is the rest of the media people? How can we be a free country if this is just getting by? If this is just let it go. It doesn't matter. We have made a determination. We don't need to make a determination. Hey, Matt.
Shut up, slave.
Shut up.
God.
I got some.
Yeah, I got something that.
Go ahead. Oh, I got some. So I think I have I have two things, and then I'll let you close it out. I've got a Glenn Greenwald clip, which is the gaffe of the week. On
where was this extracted?
Democracy Now! Are you ready?
Oh, okay. Well, I have a couple of Democracy Now! Ones too, but we'll see what you have.
By the way, how 80s is that music for Democracy Now!
Oh, 70s almost. And then there's just back announcing these songs. Oh, it was Green Grass by the Greengrassers, the Lighters, and the just give me a break.
Tony Orlando and Dawn with tie a yellow ribbon round the old oak tree. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Democracy Now!
Glenn Greenwald, your response and what happens now. Of course, I spoke to him before temporary asylum was granted by Russia, but of course it is temporary. And what is Edward Snowden saying to you about what his plans are now? Is this the period where he's continuing to push for asylum, or will he make his home in Russia?
But he really is considered to be quite a hero. I mean, he's a hero here. He's a hero in Asia. He's now a hero in Russia, by all accounts. I think what you see is populations around the world really grateful to be able to have this information. As far as Mr. Snowden's spying plans are concerned, asylum plans are concerned.
Did you hear it?
What was the gaffe?
I'll let you hear it again. Okay.
I mean, he's a hero here. He's a hero in Asia. He's now a hero in Russia, by all accounts. I think what you see is populations around the world really grateful to be able to have this information.
Okay, here it comes.
And as far as Mr. Snowden's spying plans are concerned, asylum plans are concerned.
As far as Mr. Snowden's spying plans, asylum plans.
Flying plans? Spying plans. Oh, I missed that.
Maybe Mr. Snowden is a double agent.
Oh, we suggested this right off the bat.
But here's the gaffe. I mean, he's as far as his spying plans, I mean his asylum plans, it's a far cry from asylum to spying. Where does he come up with spying?
It's on his brain. It's why he said it.
Exactly.
The human being must tell the truth at all times. So they always, by gaffes if necessary. So, well, I mean, one of the theses was you just put this guy in such a situation that there's no way that you can you got to place him someplace so he can make some because he can hack computers. Apparently, he's a genius at it, according to his father. So he can get into Russia, get a job at the Russian Facebook, and the next thing you know, he's got a bunch of stuff, and he's out and he's a hero. But then they can't do that either because you can't announce your, I don't know how they're going to do this, but I did get a new piece of information which I thought was interesting, and I got some Greenwald clips too that I thought were very good. They're a little long, but I've got this clip of this, and unfortunately the guy's name is on a back of an envelope downstairs, so I can't tell you who it is. But he's one of these analysts that's got a lot of Russian background, and he's discussing the Snowden information. With the backdrop of Obama bailing out of the meeting that they were going to have, even though the meeting wasn't going to be productive anyway, and he kind of agrees with that. But this is the analysis of Obama Putin with new information. There's a little tidbit in here that nobody knew about.
President Obama mishandled the situation with Putin over Snowden. Explain what you mean by that, and is that how Russian officials that you've talked to felt?
Well, Snowden came to Russia not at the invitation of the Russian government. Actually, from what I was told, and it was confirmed to me by U.S. officials, that the U.S. government have informed the Russians about Snowden being on a plane from Hong Kong to Moscow only when the plane has already left Hong Kong. So Snowden was traveling to Cuba. He was supposed to board a plane to Cuba, a Russian plane, next day. Then the U.S. government goes to the Cubans, and despite a rather difficult U.S.-Cuban relationship, the Cubans decided to accommodate the United States and not to allow Snowden to go via Cuba. So here is Snowden at the Russian airport. He is there for less than 6 hours, and the Secretary of State already warns Putin about consequences. And the State Department already expresses strong concern. And Senator Schumer warns Putin about terrible implications for the relationship and says that Putin put a knife in the American back.
So this is about Cuba?
Well, this seems a little sketchy to me. But why didn't Snowden take he had it all lined up. He could either go to Ecuador or Venezuela with a flight through Cuba. Mm-hmm. Now, according to this guy, the United States, when we don't even have any relations with Cuba, we supposedly hate them and we have all these sanctions. And I don't know if we can do any more sanctions. I guess we got a hold of somebody and said, look, you're not going to let that Snowden guy lands in Cuba. You're turning him over to us or something. Or they said, you better just refuse the flight. Don't let Snowden into Cuba so he can't catch that flight to Venezuela. Now, I didn't know any of this, but it does explain why he didn't take the flight the next day, and a bunch of journalists were stuck on there.
Right.
It was never explained.
As an addition to that, on Saturday, a surface combat squadron of the Russian Navy arrived in Cuba for the first time in 4 years. Friendly visit, they called it. They had the flagship of the Black Sea Fleet, the missile cruiser Moscow, and the large anti-submarine ship Vice Admiral Kulakov of the Northern Fleet, and a number of supply and service ships. That's kind of close.
Yeah, something is up. All right, so I've got 3 Greenwald clips that are a little lengthy. One of them is really long. But I thought it was such a great rant that I have it. We can either play it at the end or maybe after the show closes. It's long enough that it'd be a show close. We don't need to talk about it. But I got a couple things here that are interesting, which is the Greenwald. This is where he rephrases the force, the plane from Bolivia was forced down, which we've debunked with actual cockpit chatter.
Do we want to play that again or
no, I don't.
People good?
I think that we played it twice. I don't think we need to play it again because I just want to point out that the wording on the phrasing of the thing being forced down is interesting.
Let me just reiterate then quickly. We have the cockpit recording of the FAB 0001, I think it is, which is the Bolivian president's plane, asking to land in Austria, saying that they have some fuel gauge malfunction. They want to check it out. There was no forced landing. They requested to land under a bogus, mind you, that's a very typical pilot trick, is to say someone's sick, they're puking. You do that on a small plane, or we have something. You can't declare an emergency, but we have something that's a little irritating, like we're not so sure about the fuel gauge, so we just want to go down and check it out. That is the truth. There was no forced landing. No one has admitted this, as far as I know.
Right. We're the only ones that discuss this. So anyway, and we have the evidence, and we can play the clip again. We played it a couple of times. We'll play it again in the future, I'm sure. But so he changes his wording. But the funny thing is when they kick it back to Amy Goodman, I'm not sure I have the whole thing. She's back on the old script, and it's actually kind of funny. But if you listen to
because Greenwald has been he's been a big propagator of this lie about the Bolivian aircraft being forced down. He has talked about this quite a bit.
Right. Now he has changed because he knows this is bogus. So he's changed the wording, so it's all now instead of forced landing, it's all weasel words. And when you hear it, you roll your eyes, even though Amy Goodman's still on the old meme.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that the United States has done is really kind of showed the world what its character is over the last 2 months through its really extreme and radical behavior. I mean, I can tell you here in Latin America what was really event shifting was when they caused the plane of Evo Morales to be downed in Austria by blocking airspace rights over their European allies. And I think the final point to note about this is everyone in the world knows, probably except for Americans, that the United States routinely refuses to extradite all sorts of people accused of horrible crimes. I mean, in Bolivia, the ex-president who's accused of all sorts of war crimes and was protected and propped up by the CIA is living comfortably in the United States, which refuses to turn him over, and that's been true of other Latin Americans who have been accused of serious crimes of terrorism. So I think when the United States pretends to be outraged that they don't get what they want in extradition, everyone in the world knows that they frequently do the same thing in much more extreme cases.
I think it's actually to say the plane was down, that's almost like being shot down. It's worse. That's not. He's making it worse. It's been downed by our friends. That's right. I called up my friends in Europe and said, "Down that plane."
Yeah, well, I think, but he has changed it. No forced landing. It's now, kind of.
When is Greenwald going to stop?
I don't know, but this one here I got here, the analysis of Obama Putin with the best Greenwald rant ever. The two guys that head the Intelligence Committee, the Republican and the Democrat guy's a total douchebag. And he calls him out here, and I think this is really one of the most important things you can listen to.
This is the best
rant.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. As it relates to this information. And we will continue to do that because what we're trying to do now is to get the American public to know more about what's going on, that NSA is following the law, and that we have checks and balances. We have the courts. We have both the Senate and House Intelligence Committee. We have Justice Department. We have checks and balances here to make sure that NSA does not violate the law in what they're doing. And since these two programs have come into effect, especially the metadata, there has not been one incident of any member of the NSA breaking any law whatsoever. But we can do better. I have to educate my caucus more, the Democratic caucus, and we're trying to declassify as much as we can.
That's Democratic Congressmember Dutch Ruppersberger. Glenn Greenwald, your response.
I hope Dutch Ruppersberger takes a much more prominent role in the political debate because he's basically the embodiment of the rotted soul that has become the Democratic Party. Not only does his district encompass Fort Meade, which is the headquarters of the NSA, which explains in part why he is this stalwart, steadfast NSA loyalist, but he is almost drowning in cash from the defense and intelligence industries. He's the second leading recipient in the entire United States House of Representatives of money money from those industries, and he then gets placed on the very committee that the Church Committee created in the mid-1970s to exercise oversight over the agency and the community that basically ensures that his coffers are stuffed full of cash. So of course he becomes the leading spokesperson for that agency, and then goes around defending it and saying they've done nothing wrong and they're vital and indispensable to our national security. That's the leading Democrat on that committee. But the thing that he was asked was about, in terms of members of Congress being blocked from information, basic information, isn't my claim. Members of Congress came to me with this grievance and asked me to write about it. And they gave me correspondence between themselves and the Intelligence Committee. And what they were asking for was not very sensitive information. They were asking for the most basic things they read about in media accounts, such as the ruling by the FISA court in 2011 that much of what the NSA has been doing, spying on Americans domestically, is a violation of the Constitution and the law. There really is, Amy, an 85-page, 86-page ruling issued by the FISA court that says the government has been systematically breaking the law and violating the Fourth Amendment and how it spies on us. And not only can we not see that ruling because it remains a secret at the insistence of the Obama administration, even our elected representatives in Congress who we're told are exercising robust oversight are blocked from seeing it. And that's the correspondence that we published that was given to me by various House members. So yeah, they do get meetings with General Alexander where they get to raise their hand and ask questions, and General Alexander says, we're not violating the law, and we are strictly adhering to what our guidelines are. He can say whatever he wants. They want to get the actual documents. That's how you exercise oversight, and they're being denied it about the most basic information about both the NSA and the FISA court.
Yeah, I have a similar clip, which I won't play, about that last part, about this report, which now Greenwald, the difference in the clip I had and yours is that he says it's 84, 85 pages. This, of course, is the document that I'm just salivating. I'm dying to get my hands on. And I think I have a piece of the puzzle. As you know, I've been watching this guy, this Inglis, who was the second in command under Kaiser Alexander.
Yeah,
at NSA.
Slick Inglis.
Yeah, this is the guy who our insiders are telling us will become the replacement for Janet Napolitano at DHS. No one is talking about the guy as being the replacement, but our insiders, who I trust, are saying that he is teed up and he's very, very well connected. He's got the look, kind of nondescript douchebag spook. He's got the voice, and he said something on June 8th, I believe, when he was asked, which gives away part of, I think, how they're circumventing the law.
So let me just, for the record, state, is NSA spying today, or have you spied on American citizens?
We do not target U.S. persons anywhere in the world without a specific court warrant.
And does the NSA listen to the phone calls of American citizens?
We do not target or listen to the telephone calls of U.S. persons under that targeting without a specific court warrant.
Does the NSA read the emails of American citizens?
Same answer, ma'am.
Does the NSA read the text messages of American citizens?
Again, we do not target the content of U.S. person communications without a specific warrant anywhere on the earth.
Aha! But that could be from space. Why would he say anywhere on the earth? He didn't say anywhere on earth. He said anywhere on the earth.
So you're saying by implication that he's referring to pulling down all the communications that runs through the satellite systems.
Yep. Yep.
That's a stretch, but I like it.
Well, we'll see, because this document, this FISA court document, will surface eventually. It's out there.
Oh yeah.
Someone has
what's
it.
known? It's unless they're probably trying to destroy all copies. But,
as we speak.
We speak, but it won't happen. There's one more thing that I got out of Greenwald in this long thing. It's another longish clip, but I didn't know. I think we knew this, but we didn't think about it. But I think Greenwald brings up a topic which calls out Wyden and these other guys who are always like acting like they're trying to help the public. And he mentioned something, and that needs to be reminded. This is Greenwald. Senators can say what they want on the floor of Congress. That they can tell the biggest secrets. They can say whatever because they're immune. And play this clip.
Let me ask you something. The former Alaska Senator Mike Gravel, who is the one who got the Pentagon Papers put into the congressional record and then had them published by Beacon Press, the whole thousands of pages, he said that the senators who have been really sounding the alarms, people like Senator Udall, Senator Wyden, of course, the ones who've been warning Americans in sort of cryptic ways, saying you got to find out about this, could actually go much further now that so much has been released by you and even the Obama administration.
Right. Well, there's an article in Foreign Policy magazine over the weekend by the Yale law professor Bruce Ackerman that makes the same point. Remember, United States senators have full constitutional immunity against prosecution for anything that they say on the floor of the Senate. And Daniel Ellsberg, when he was trying to get people to read the Pentagon Papers, actually wanted to get Mike Gravel and other senators to go to the floor of the Senate and read the Pentagon Papers because they would have been immune from prosecution. As much as I like the fact that Ron Wyden and Mark Udall have been sounding the alarms for a couple of years, winking and hinting at Americans that they would be shocked to learn all the things that the Obama administration is doing in secret, they didn't have the courage to tell us what those things were that they thought we should know. It took Mr. Snowden to come forward, who doesn't have immunity, and tell us. And interestingly, the very first interview I ever did on ABC about this case, I was followed by Senator Udall, and they asked Senator Udall about Edward Snowden, and the first thing he said was, I deplore his leak. So, Mark Udall didn't have the courage to do what Edward Snowden did. He tried to get the country to know there was something going on that we should know, but didn't come forward and say, even though he had this protection. But I think Senator Gravel and Bruce Ackerman are absolutely right. There are all sorts of ways that if Ron Wyden and Mark Udall and others really believe, as they're saying, that there are serious abuses going on in the NSA, they could let us know and could do so with total protection. Not unlike me, who's reporting it and being threatened with imprisonment, or Mr. Snowden, who's been charged for letting us know. They could actually exercise their constitutional prerogatives as a senator and tell us what they think that we ought to know, and they ought to do a lot more of that.
My focus is now going to be on Glenn Greenwald. Who died and made him the center of this universe?
I'm with you on that one part, but it's because I don't think anybody else wants to do this.
No, there's something else going on. There's a reason why he's the center of this. This is just too much. And that he is going on. It
is too much. I agree.
He's doing more for. How can the Guardian even put up with this? He's going on. He's building Glenn Greenwald, the brand, I guess. And it's just one thing after another. This guy. I don't know. It's worrisome.
Would you be stunned if you turned out to be a CIA operative
or something?
Being fed the information to stop this NSA crap from going on, because maybe that other agency doesn't care much for it, because they're getting followed and listened to too. They don't like it.
MI6, I would say more. Someone pointed out to me the other day that if you look at
MI6 is possible.
Well, that the Guardian is British intelligence. Come on.
Yeah.
Someone pointed out to me that if you look at the ratio of Democrats to Republicans in the agencies, CIA is predominantly Republican, NSA predominantly Democrat. I thought that to be an interesting observation.
Where'd you get that one?
One of our producers mailed that to me. Yeah, I should pull it up, but I was like, well, there's something I didn't verify. I didn't do the research on all the names, but I'm like, there could be something to it, and we know that we have always supposed that there's some kind of warring, factions here between the agencies, but for it to actually be Republican Democrat parties, interesting.
I like that. And that's a new dimension.
And we know that Greenwald is, harping on the Democrats, so that would kind of be where you get your CIA/MI6 thing from. So I don't know. But he is out there way too much. Way too much.
Well, he's available for home consulting
all the time.
He's just sitting by the phone.
What's the time zone? Is Brazil the different time zone?
2 or 3 hours ahead of us. It's not that
okay,
different.
It's not a big difference. And he always is sitting between those two mountains and the green screen in the background. You notice that?
In this one, he was in front of a fireplace.
Oh, really?
Seriously.
He needs to do just plain green screen so the viewer can put him in a different place. You know, that would be fun.
Like
if we could just do our own little things. Like, where's Glenn today? I want him to be in the Arctic. And there you go. Hi, everybody. I'm Glenn Greenwald. I've got more on the FISA court from the Arctic here where I'm hiding out. You know, it's not just Snowden who needs to come home and face the music. Glenn Greenwald, come to America, man. Come on. We need you here. We need you in studio.
No, he's definitely well prepared for these things. And he's got his guns out blazing. And it is aimed at the Democrats and Obama.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll see what happens.
But we do want to get a hold of that document.
Oh, well, you never know. We might get lucky. I have encryption on my email. All right, everybody. Thank you all so much for your support of the best podcast in the universe. We highly appreciate it. And we will be we're going straight back to work as soon as we finish production of the show to get ready for another episode on Sunday. And
Indeed.
Yes, and in the meantime, will keep my eyes open for the drills and testing going on here with Department of Homeland Security in Austin. Don't be alarmed if you see more police presence coming to you from the capital of the Drone Star State. In the morning, everybody, I'm Adam Curry.
And from Northern Silicon Valley, insurance. Get insurance. I'm John C. Dvorak.
We'll talk to you again on Sunday right here on No Agenda.
The court hereby finds the defendants Adam Curry and John C. Dvorak guilty of telling slaves the truth and are sentenced to 72 hours of Pierce Morgan. The court is now adjourned.
Dvorak.org/NA